camera, her mic, out on the street chasing wrong from right. Eyes like fire burning through the haze. Truth is a weapon, cuts through the maze. Some call her trouble, some call her brave. Digging up secrets they tried to save. A real deal around town. She's breaking it down, spinning the wheel, exposing the sound. They despise her, they praise her, but she won't slow down. Real deal around town. The truth's her cry. Shadows, they curse her name. Afraid of the spotlight she brings to the game. But the grateful ones, they cheer in the dark for the spark she ignites in their weary hearts. Some call her danger, some call her hope. She's the thin line on the tightrope. The sound. They despise her, they praise her, but she won't slow down. Real deal around town. The truth's her crown, yeah. The sound. They despise her, they praise her, but she won't slow down. Real deal around town. The truth's her crown, yeah. The truth's her crown, yeah.
Well, hi everybody. We're back again so soon, and we're going to see the full select board tonight. Last night's meeting, I hope they fixed the owl. This could be a disaster if they have not. I'm trying to find, where is it anyway? Let's see. I was having a technical difficulty. I don't know if you guys were hearing the over. I had like two things playing at the same time, and I was trying to find it. And they haven't come back on yet. Okay. And it took me a bit to find the overlap, but so I got the select board ready to go. Let's see. They've got a real, oh, they're coming on. Or TCAM's gotten things started. They got 5 minutes left. I got time to talk about nothing. Yeah, we still don't know what the scoop is with David. I don't know. They have not posted a decision. And they're not talking, apparently. So, we'll have to see. Maybe we'll have to have rumor control. Or if anybody knows, like David would know why we're not hearing anything. If anybody knows David, ask him. I mean, don't ask him, be nice. I'm not calling him. But David might know. David would know where things are. If they made a decision, they would publish it. I would think. I really would think they would publish it. if it's continued, I don't know why they're not saying that either. I just don't know. And the only thing I can think of is the whole thing was dismissed. But I don't think so. But if it was, I think David would be letting everybody know, right? So I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. So tonight's agenda, let's see, we've got 3 minutes. Oh, they'll probably start a minute or two early. Let's see, what are they doing? They're talking about, they want to spend money, although this one is partially grant funded. They want to put an electric vehicle charging station over at the senior center. We definitely need one in town somewhere. They're talking about the budget. Definitely want to be here for that. Then, let's see, we're going to do, I don't know what the hell this is. 4.3, this is going to be interesting. Involving the union in the budget. I don't know. I really don't know. This town is getting crazy. Then we're going to give the treasurer more money. They're going to talk about public records policy. That's going to be fun. I just know that's going to be fun. You don't want to miss that. I'm going to get videos out of that. I know it's going to be bad. I just know. I mean, that's just in my heart. I know. I don't have any information to say I know why it's going to be bad. I just, when the select board talk public records, they break the law. They just want to talk to about how many times they want to break the law. They put themselves in a bad position. The last time they talked public records, I now have evidence for any time I might end up in a courtroom or even on an appeal. Any of my appeals will probably involve this record. I mean, this video of Veronica Kell expressing her intent to violate the public records law. So she just sunk the town, and anything they try to do with the public records policy, you can't undo what's already been done. So just provide public records. You used to say, they stopped saying it if you noticed. They used to insist in the select board meeting how transparent they were. They stopped doing it because it's a lie. It's been a lie. And they're getting worse. So we'll see. Let's see. Ballot questions. They're going to talk about the ballot questions for the election. Because they don't know what they're doing with the override, apparently. We really need more money than they're asking so far. I guess they're doing ride-share trips. I don't know what this is. This is going to be an interesting... and the fire department wants an ambulance. Police department wants radios. Everybody wants, and we don't have any money. So, I don't know. We can do an override for capital projects, you know. I don't know if anybody in town hall knows that. Let's see. Oh, I thought they already did this. They have to discuss and vote to accept the lease agreement for the harbor in Old Harbor and Old Central Fire Station. I thought they did this. Okay. And Veronica's still getting her way. They're going to be publishing a new special municipal employee list. They want to try to exempt more employees from the conflict of interest law. Because they want corruption. Corruption is the name of the game here in Townsend. We can't have corruption. We can't have anything. So, let's see. Let's see. I'm gonna hear what Karen has to say about snow and ice tonight. Board liaisons, volunteer response forms. Yeah, that's nothing new. Oh, they're gonna have a lot of select board meetings this month. They're gonna have one on the 10th, the 17th, and the 19th. That's because we got a special time meeting coming up, and they have no idea where we're getting any money for anything. And later on, we're not going to be part of it, but they're going to have 3 executive sessions, 2 of them about union negotiations, and 1 of them is about the lawsuit, the $1 million lawsuit against the town of Townsend. So, select board's there, but no sound. It's interesting. I wonder why. I'm going to pull them up, which I haven't done yet. So you can see what I see. Select board. There you go. Whoops. It'll come up. I swear it will. Oh, I have to add it to the stage. Sorry. Well, there's not, I mean, they're talking, but they're muted. But they're not muted. The mute button is not on, but maybe Karen knows what's going on. They turned off the video now. Now they muted, not that they weren't already. Don't ask me. Oh, I might as well get things working here on my page, right? Just to get us going. You might as well like and subscribe before you even get started here. Is there anything else I need to do? Probably not. I'll turn that off for now. Okay. So, yeah. So I gave you the agenda, basically. I think it'll be a long meeting, or it'll be a short meeting for me if there's no sound. Don't ask me what they're doing. So in case you haven't heard, we have a special town meeting coming up on the, and now I forgot the date. the 19th, I think. Is it the 19th? Yes, it's the 19th. Somebody's going to send me a text in a moment if I don't get it right. But I'm pretty sure it's the 19th. Jeez. Oh, what am I doing? I don't put these things in my calendar because we already have it. I just look at the town hall calendar for all these things. I got too much going on in my own life. Let's see. Let's see. While we're talking calendar, I'm waiting for them. They were supposed to start 5 minutes ago. I don't know. Come on, guys, get your act together. Kieran was shuffling papers before they turned the camera off, so he probably got things out of order or something. Don't ask me what's going on. Let's see. I'm going to pull up the town calendar. Come on. Let's see. The only meeting going on tonight is the select board. Tomorrow's the energy committee. On the 5th, we've got Commission on Disability, Conservation Restriction Committee, Montechusett. Oh, our MRPC is having their own meeting. That's on our calendar. Exciting week. Then you only have a couple more days to run for office. You got to take your papers out by Friday. I don't know what's open anymore. Most positions are open. There's a seat at the table for everybody. The election won't be till April, but you got to take out nomination papers and get about 50 signatures, I think, signed for people to nominate you, and then you'll be on the ballot. If you turn your papers back in, your papers have to be turned back in by next Monday. So that doesn't give you a lot of time to get 50 signatures, but that's how that's going to work. On Monday, we have the American Flag Committee is going to meet at 4 p.m. Planning Board will be meeting at 6:30. They haven't posted their full agenda. I think there's only thing that's here is some kind of... Is that their full agenda? Oh, it is their full agenda. I'm sorry. They're doing a couple of... Not much. They're talking about 53 West Meadow Road. And a couple things. Nothing exciting. Nothing exciting that I can see right now. Come on. Ugh. I hate this website, let me tell you. Oh, on the 10th, Cultural Council, on March 11th, the Conservation Commission is meeting. They've got a bunch of stuff going on. I think they've got a bunch of hearings. Let's see. North End Road. Oh, this is a pain in my butt. What else? They don't make it easy here. Balsam Drive. And Seaver Road. How about that? See, routine. To me, it looks like it's routine. Yep, for those just joining, I noticed there's a couple people just signing in here. Or coming in, not signing in. I don't know who you are, unless you leave a comment. But if you're waiting like I am, the select board is hiding out. I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea what's going on. Let me see if anybody here knows. I gotta send a text. Hold on. Let's see.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, never mind.
Cindy, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right.
So you're good. I couldn't hear you before, but now I can. This is great.
Yeah, there was something up with the computer, so give us a second here. We'll be right with folks. John, give me 2 minutes. We'll be right with you. So.
Okay. Although, Kieran, otherwise you guys are ready to go? No, hang on.
Oh, I see.
Check if the source device is connected and powered on.
Can you guys hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Cool. So we are hooked into the OWL, but I'll update it on the screen for us here in the meeting.
Okay.
That's next on the list. Have a little fun.
Are you ready? Let me know and I'll hit record.
Not this very good.
No, I think we're good with that one.
So last night the owl was not working,
This is a big
or
sheet from my
nobody knew what they
computer.
were doing.
People are like
Sure.
that. You're gonna say what you are.
Which one?
It should look like what you're trying to do. Rush for it. Like 1 or 3, that might be you.
Oh, look at that. All right. Sorry. We wanted to get us on the big screen too, so. I think we'll be ready to go in just 1 minute. I'll just look at my colleagues here to make sure they're ready to roll.
Is everything been noticed on your screen, the computer?
Are any of you going to need to screen share?
I'll probably screen share along the way if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I need to activate it on this end for you though, so give me 1 second.
Excellent.
Okay. You should be okay to screen share without having to ask.
Okay.
Wait.
We do.
Yeah.
Okay, they're just not on the list.
Almost never changes, I don't think.
All right. I think we're in good shape here. Sorry for the technical difficulties. It was a little wonky after a couple of good meetings earlier today and last night. So I will shift to Chair Schifrin to kick us off.
This meeting is being recorded.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Laura Schifrin. I will call the meeting of the Select Board on Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026 to order at 4:44 p.m. Sorry for the technical delay. Roll call.
Veronica present. Target present.
And Laura Schifrin present. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to thank all of our veterans, as well as all of our military serving here and abroad, as well as all of our emergency response people and public safety people. We've had a tough week here, and I just want you all to know how much we appreciate your volunteerism to doing the jobs that you do. Also thank our staff and all of our elected and appointed officials, as well as their families, for making this a better community to live in. The meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded to YouTube. Is anyone else recording?
Yes.
Thank you, Cindy. Additions or deletions? I do not have any. Okay. 1.5, review and approve the meeting minutes of February 24th, 2026 and February 25th, 2026. Is there a motion?
Are you good to move to approve the meeting minutes for February 24th, 2026 and February 25th, 2026?
Is there any discussion?
Well, Veronica Cal second. And for discussion, the only thing I have, and maybe you guys already have noted it to Sabrina, they call our TA Mian all the way through.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you are Mian.
All right.
But
take
I
that.
don't know, maybe they could say Mr. Mian, or they could say.
That's my father.
For a while, you're calling me Goodrich for a while. So.
Yeah, so that's the
I'm
only.
pretty sure that's
comment I have.
AI.
Yeah.
Oh, it is, it
Yeah,
absolutely
perhaps you could
is.
make a correction there. I noticed a lot of edits as far as, again, grammar. Capitalizing shouldn't be capitalized, stuff like that. So I did those on both, but other than that, I didn't see, well, yes, I did see a motion that was made and seconded, but no vote
Mhm.
when we had the joint meeting. So I did point that out, but apparently I was told if it's not there, there wasn't one. So I'm not sure how we're gonna handle that. It was in the joint meeting of capital planning.
Did
and
you watch the, recording?
I didn't watch it after I was told that that's what it was. So anyway, that's the only thing I saw,
Was that the 24th? That'd be the 24th. Yeah.
Which meeting, the 24th?
the 24th.
Do you want to just do the 25th and we'll do the 24th next time so we can look into that?
Yeah,
We
let's do that.
We want votes to be recorded properly.
Correct.
Because the minutes are the record.
That is correct.
Hey,
So,
I'm good with that, so I'm glad that I told you that.
so do you want to amend the?
Yeah, I would amend the motion to only include the meeting minutes for February 26th.
And I will second that amendment.
I actually, it actually was in the, closing, of that portion of the joint meeting.
It was a vote to adjourn?
Yeah,
I'll check. I can check in on it.
okay. All right, so the motion has been amended to just approve, February 25th, 2026 at this point in time. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote to approve February 25th, 2026 minutes.
Brian Capella.
Valerie Peter,
And Laura Schifrin, aye. Okay. So 224 will go to March 10th.
Good.
Okay, on number 2, we do not have any appointments or hearings. And number 3, we do not have any appointments of any officials. And under 4.1, Karen.
4.1, we have John Scavone here from Earthlight to quickly talk to us about the EV charging station at the Senior Center Library parking lot. John's just going to give a few moments and share, what Earthlight does, sort of the EV charging station and sort of the makeup of their side of the table, if you will. And then if we are excited and want me to further pursue this, we can go from there. John, are you still with us? John? He may be stuck on a call. I'll nudge him to ask to unmute. Maybe that's the trigger. I'll give him one more second and I'll make sure I know I told him about it. So. Well, in general, he was going to touch on, what Earthlight does in terms of their investigation related to the grant process for the town. And also, hey, John, how are you? Nope.
Yeah, no.
So Earthlight was just gonna.
Hi, I'm here. Sorry, for whatever reason, it was not working. I just refreshed my browser and now it's allowing me to work. So technology is wonderful.
We understand we're having our own issues here with technical, so. Go ahead.
So you got a few minutes here to share with what's going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah, if I can share my screen, I have a little presentation. I'll be very brief, quick, informative, and like Kieran said, you guys can use that information to do with it what you will.
Yeah. TCAM, are you okay with Mr. Scavone sharing his screen for a moment?
Yeah, give me a second.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You're down in Connecticut, right, John?
Yep.
Just rain down there right now, or how's it going for you?
Yeah, I mean, my wife's a teacher, and they pretty much canceled every school in the state of Connecticut, and we had an inch of snow that didn't even stick. So.
Yeah. Little different for us. We're getting it now, so you're welcome.
Oh, you are? Okay.
You should be able to share right now.
Okay, let me see if I have the option somewhere. I don't see the option to share anywhere.
Not the bottom.
It should be down, at the bottom, right? Green little arrow.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it, but Kieran, I did send you the proposal, so maybe you want to pull it up or send the PowerPoint, and I'll just, talk through it.
I don't know why, but I have share screen on mine.
I like this. We're having a fun day.
Well,
I don't think you want me to
I-
share my screen either, but
Security. Yeah, I'm not.
Wonder if Dave gave it to you instead of John.
I would like to think
That's
I'm
what I'm
very
thinking.
technically literate, but yeah, I just don't see anything right now.
yeah, it's on. He gave it to me for some reason.
Huh.
No, it's right on here. It says his name, co-host. So
Wow.
I can try toggling it and see what happens, but
Yeah,
no,
I've got the green arrow share screen on the bottom
I
of
believe
mine.
you.
I don't think I would have that if I didn't have the authority.
true, but. Well,
I do see that I'm a co-host. Oh, you are. Okay.
There we go.
Fantastic. So yeah, I'll just tell you next. I'll be 5-10 minutes. I'll get through it. So real quick, so you can just go to the next slide. I am actually JJ Energy Solutions. I'm just an independent consultant. Basically, I've been doing this for over 15 years. I started my own company where I work with a bunch of contractors. I know a lot of things. And I'm kind of a middleman where the contractor pays me directly and I look for opportunities, kind of a salesman for hire kind of thing. So you go to the next slide. Next slide. Yep. Go back. Sorry. So the contracting partner I selected is Earthlight Technologies. They're one of the largest EV installers for National Grid. The locations that we looked at were, as he mentioned, the library, senior center, the town hall. I have community center that should have been updated, but it's also the police station. So we can go to the next slide. So what we've done, I've completed walkthroughs. I've selected a contractor. We put together LOIs, and kind of met with Kieran to identify the sites. Basically, there's a $50,000 grant that's available for each municipal owned property in order to install EV. There are a few exclusions of what counts towards that grant, which you'll see in upcoming slides. But basically, we are at a point where we have initial engineering studies done, and have a good idea of what these projects should cost, and what the grant should be in order to install them. So next slide. Real quick, this is what the EV charger looks like. If you know anything about EVs, there's level 1s, 2s, and 3s. 3s are super fast. They're super expensive. Level 1s are typically for home. They're very slow. Level 2s are in between. And then you have level 2s that range from 6 kWs to 20 kWs. The bigger the number, the faster they are. You can go to the next slide. Basically, this is the fastest level 2 on the market that we can get you for the application without getting into multi-$100,000 products and capital expenses for the town. So next charger, or next slide. Excuse me, next slide. Yeah, this is basically what the project looks like right now. You can see the total cost. You can see the grant covered about 96% of the overall project. So that's what we were able to accomplish in order to get an EV charger installed at the 3 mentioned sites. Next slide. Real quick, I have one.
1 second, John.
Yeah.
I think it's important to note for our financial purposes, I think we were most interested in the library senior center sort of rear parking lot. So I don't know if we're the full scope of all 3 sites per se, but just for your own knowledge, and if that refines the numbers and costs for the town as well. So, but I'll let you keep going, but just to throw that out there to the audience who are listening. So
yeah, no, I appreciate it. I mean, basically, that overall cost out of pocket is about $5,200.
Okay.
So should be able to achieve that site, that's the worst case scenario. And I'll get into kind of what that means, moving forward. So real quick, this is the town hall. That's where the charger would be installed. This is basically a preliminary engineering drawing of how we get there. Next slide. Here's the library senior center. You can see what we're doing is we're pulling from a power line, trenching across the open ground and installing it on the back of the parking lot, which is the most infrequently used area, which would be the best case scenario and the most cost effective area in order to install it. So since this is the one you were kind of most interested in, is there any questions about the installation, that location, before we move forward?
Yeah.
Sure, Veronica?
My question is, you showed us the picture of the level 2 charger and that it looked like 2 vehicles. Is this
Correct.
just a single vehicle or is it 2 vehicles? Because they looked like they were nose to nose.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good question. It is
One vehicle
2 vehicles, two
And
vehicles, two ports.
And where would those vehicles, in the picture of the town hall, where is the charger and where are the 2 vehicles? Oh, I see.
Yeah.
The 2 to each, so they're side by side as opposed to nose to nose.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yes. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
moving quickly for your guys' sake. If I'm moving too quickly, just let me know.
Okay. Can I ask another question?
Sure.
This backs up to the very beginning of your presentation. You said that they were an installer for National Grid.
Yeah.
We don't have National Grid, right?
Oh, excuse me, for Unitil. That's what I meant to say.
Okay.
I apologize.
Okay, thank you.
I-
feel better.
There's only three power companies. I had a 33% chance of getting it right. My apologies.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, I propose to so many towns, and it's National Grid and Eversource are kind of the ones that are in my head most of the time. So I apologize.
Fair enough. Appreciate that.
And you can see on each location design, you can kind of see an area that's striped in between the 2 spaces. That's because we have to have, in order for you to get the grant, these have to be ADA handicap accessible. So that's what you see there, is these are handicap accessible locations.
Okay.
I do like that for the accessibility for purposes. That's a nice win. So.
And of all the locations we looked at, this one is by far the most future-proofing site, where you can definitely land and expand at this site just because of the number of spots and the location in general. So just wanted to share that information.
So where does the electricity come from? I can't read the words on this picture.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I sent this presentation, so I'm sure Kieran can forward it around if you want to look at it in more depth. But for this, one of the most expensive costs that come with installing EV is excavation, trenching. So in order for us to, if we were to run it off of the existing power in the building, it would be trenching it through a lot of asphalt. So what we're able to do is, there's a power line over there. The utility pays for a transformer to go on there. We run power directly from that transformer that's up on the pole. We trench through only a little bit amount of dirt, grass, which is much cheaper. And that's essentially where the power comes from. So you will have your own meter. So it'll be a new, Unitil meter number and a bill that comes from this. And then obviously you have the charging that offsets that cost, which actually benefits you more, because then this is by far your biggest user of all the buildings. So you have a better rate when it's EV only. So, I mean, basically the state has money. They have a land they have 2030 carbon goals, and they're trying to hit that with EV. And what's all over the state is individual towns. So they're hoping that they can get if you build it, they will come mentality to try to get as many towns, to adopt EV charging as possible. And then hopefully that trickles into people buying EVs. So next slide just shows the police station. That's where it would be installed, or we could certainly do it on the backside, under the solar canopy or whatever. This is just more of the visitor spots. So you wouldn't be having someone park down where the police cars are. And as you can see it, there's very few spots in general. You are allowed to have, they can be mixed use. So it doesn't have to be for EV only. We can have a sign up and it just says, EV or parking. Most people that come to the police station probably hope they're not there for a long time. So hopefully they are, they are open. But it's, again, you have free money. I think this one's only like $100 out of pocket to install it. So there's free money out there, and as long as the property is municipally owned, it qualifies for that grant.
That's what his proposal was, yeah. We were just asking, so again, your initial scope was for the 3 locations. Are we able to reduce down to just one if we wanted to, John?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. This is just kind of the where the initial conversation started.
Yeah, that's right.
So the cost here though is for the 3 or the 1?
Yeah, the 52,228 was for one location, right, John?
That was for the library. Yeah, that had the most cost just because of the trenching that was involved, the outdoor electrical infrastructure that had a larger cost and everything else. So we exceeded the $50,000 grant amount. Now, what we showed you was the worst case scenario. Obviously, what we have now is letter of intents for you to sign should you want to move forward. That is not an additional contract. That's not the full contract. We'll come out there and we'll do or Earthlight will do the all-in engineering study, testing ground soil, and everything that's required of them, speaking with the utility to solidify the numbers. Best case scenario is, after that engineering study, that final engineering study, they're able to do it cheaper. They'll write that contract up expressing that cheaper cost. And then you can move forward with that. Worst case is they come back and they say, hey, an example would be if they find out that everything, under the grass at the senior center is bedrock, and it's going to be so expensive to trench that it probably wouldn't be worth, your money. You have the ability to even opt out of that site. So, there's only so much work any contractor is willing to do before there's skin in the game, that's my business value proposition and why I partner with contracts. So I go out and do all this initial work for free. And then once someone says, I'm kind of interested, then and I can qualify them to that point, then they go out and do all their work. So as you see here, the next step would be sign a letter of intent. We finalize our engineering, we review it, and then we submit your application.
At what point do you need funds from the town, John? Like, do you need a $5,200 check potentially now, or a $1,000 check? True skin in the game, if you will, at what point in the process?
That's a good question. The skin in the game is $1,000 per site. So if you do one site, that would be $1,000 deposit. Okay. That's for us to go out there and they'll do that 100% engineering study, everything that needs to be black and white in terms of how things get done from, excavating and electrical stuff. And then should everything work out, which I do this all the time, the site looks pretty clean. Should everything work out, that $1,000 just gets credited towards the overall project cost. Then what happens is they do the install, they carry all the costs. Once it's commissioned, which means it's up and running and it's turned on and working, the EVIP program will send you guys a check. Once you get that check, then they'll have their terms of probably 30 days to collect that money from you.
Okay. So I think
the idea is to make it have it be as advantageous as possible for a town's cash flow.
Yeah, I think for the board purposes is, I think you sent at least a few of those letters to us, John, right? Letters of intent. see Valerie.
I sent you three, one for each site, so you can review those. And if you have any questions, certainly let me know, or I can put you in contact with Earthlight directly.
Yep. So I think for the board purposes for consideration is if you were interested, you could say, Kieran, we want you to pursue, checking a letter of intent with, town council to make sure it's something that's okay for the town first and foremost. It's always prudent to do that. It doesn't sound like it's going to be anything. It sounds pretty boilerplate to me. So it sounds like JJ Energy Solutions and Earthlight have worked with other municipalities in the area. But again, as a cautious person, I would always encourage us to have legal counsel review things just to be cautious. And then otherwise, we could say, if it checks with town council, this could be signed, next meeting or, St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, whatever day we've had Adam, time to review it. If that's the path you want me to go.
Comments?
And I know
guess-
one audience member had a hand up, but I don't know, if it was
I can't
Cindy or
see
who it
that.
was, but,
In the SharePoint, I see only the proposal for the senior center. I'd like to see the one for town hall.
okay, I can email those along. I only did those because I think most people were interested in senior center, I thought.
I'm interested in both.
Okay.
I am not interested in the police station.
Okay,
But I think that putting one here would allow someone to charge and walk into the center and do whatever.
yeah.
So I like the idea of one on 13, one on 119.
Yeah, there are no other charging stations, and maybe John, I think, Valerie's, there's no other charging station in town for, public access. So if you're here for a hike and you've got a Nissan Leaf and you need to charge it after hiking all day and also get some food, this might be a nice.
It's also proximity to the rail trail
Mhm.
here. So I like, if we're gonna do it, I'd go for.
Library
those
Senior
two.
Center is nice because people, if you're heading from New Hampshire to Massachusetts,
Yes.
you can stop and work and charge. And
Yeah,
Yeah, I like both locations and I
Yeah.
think we should consider both.
I mean, normally I know you don't have a ton of money, but the grant is almost essentially the entire thing.
it is, yeah, and this, for background, this is a great use of actually using free cash. Like, rather than using it to, get reoccurring costs, this is a one-time cost to the town. It is a true benefit to those that have electric vehicles. I don't, but
Yeah.
many people do.
The
So-
only other question I have is maintenance. I mean, what
Yeah.
is the maintenance for the town going forward for this?
Yeah,
That would
that's-
be my other question.
John, do you have a sense for maintenance? Is it,
It's written in here.
can a plow crew just plow right in front of it? What type of responsibilities and, things to be aware of do we have there?
And who do
Well, we put, I mean, it's required by code. We put, cement bollards in front of it. I don't know if that would stop a plow. So I hope you have, a plow driver knows not to plow through it. You're liable for that. Just like if a plow driver ran into an air conditioning unit, I mean, it's a piece of technology. But we do have, things up. So, if the average person hits the gas rather than the brake accidentally, the bollard is rated, to stop the car from, ruining the unit. In terms of the warranty, it's a 3-year warranty. Just if anything happens, they replace it. The contractor themselves offers a 1-year labor warranty. So if anything happens and it dies that first year, they'll come out and replace it for you. I mean, it's like any piece of digital, it's, essentially digital technology. Very low failure rates, but if it does, it usually happens quick. If your iPhone's bad, you'll know sooner than later. And then the
Are
only
we responsible for repairing it if in the event 2 years from now, a bus, is it the town's liability or is it the Earthlight's liability to come and get that machine working because it no longer provides service?
Yeah, after a year, any like labor would be on the town. The only real maintenance that you would see is, well, one, you just kind of we'll set the rate for you. There's a software. So you'll see, we'll set it at whatever you want it to be at in terms of what you charge people. If you want to change that, that's on you guys moving forward. The only thing that might happen in the future is you have to replace one of the plugs because you just have someone who's rips it out or does something to it, which that is, couple $100. Really, with the chargers, the most expensive thing is the electrical infrastructure. So that's where 80-90% of the cost comes from.
What's the expected lifetime of the unit?
Over 10 years.
Okay.
Okay, before I entertain any kind of motion, Cindy, did you have a question?
Yeah, I mean, great questions. You know what you're talking about. The difference between ChargePoint and something I didn't mention was ChargePoint will typically put a software fee on the owner of the system. So if you're buying a ChargePoint, you have to pay that subscription, year over year, regardless of who uses it. This is not like that. This is a model, and the reason why I like this company, the software company, is actually a rate paid by the person who's charging. So you never, yeah. So in terms of, let's just say your rate is 20 cents per kilowatt hour. You'll charge people 40 cents per kilowatt hour. So, you're covering your cost, and then you're making a little bit of money. I mean, it's not a money making thing. It's more just an amenity, an asset. The world is changing, and this is the way to deploy it. For, like Kieran was saying, for free money. So
Yeah, but we don't want to. We're not positioned as a town to lose money, so we have to break even or better just on principle. I like a good ROI just like everybody else. So
yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. It's the more money, the money you make is kind of granted on the speed of the charger, which is why I like to put the fastest level 2 charger in, because obviously that's quicker money, and then people get their car charging quicker. I mean, based on expected out of pocket costs, usually the long term cost is the software. So because there's no software fee, I mean, there really isn't long term liable costs, unless someone hits the system with a plow.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's when you're buying an air conditioner or another piece of building electrical technology, you're not taking that into consideration when you assume things are gonna, no human error.
Yeah. Well, thank you, John. You guys can think
Any other
about it for
questions?
another meeting if you wanted to. You don't have to make a decision tonight. I can send along the other
I'd like to
stations,
see the other.
before you make a decision, if you will. If that helps, I can email those along offline. So.
Yep.
I would put this for a vote next meeting.
Next meeting. Okay, cool.
That's what I.
Thank you so much, John.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks,
Thank you for the
John.
presentation.
Well, I just want to say thank you for letting me go first. I can't tell you how many town select board meetings I've been to, and I'm the last one on the docket, and it's 9 o'clock, and I'm like, what am I doing here? So, yeah, no, I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. So, yeah, maybe I'll be talking to you next month.
Thanks, John. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
All right, 4.2.
Yeah, 4.2, so I'll stop sharing. We'll catch up on this at our next meeting. 4.2, I will bring up our budget. So to give some other context to this, presented with the department heads today, I'll bring that presentation up. That'll be a good segue here, so give me 1 second. Screen share. Hmm. My technological wizardry today, huh?
Tap it into the reserves.
Okay. Oh, it's hard to see, but the blue is the requested.
We're doing,
Yeah, so I'm going to start with this presentation first.
Okay.
So I presented this to our department heads today, sort of things that cover right here. You know, as you remember from our FinCom meeting, we have a budget policy that was set in 2017. The town will not balance the budget by using one-time or other non-reoccurring revenues to fund ongoing expenditure. Section 1, page 4. You can see how we've gotten to where we are now. Some heavy free cash usage in the past. I'll let that set in for a moment. We used some ARPA money as well, you know, for reoccurring expenses. That's been a tough practice. So expenses, this is where we're at right now. That presentation doesn't look quite as good as it should. So what's going on there? You know, it's a pie chart. You know, education is taking the majority of our costs. I don't think that's much of a surprise.
That's where it's been.
Yeah, that's the way it is in most rural communities. Better looking fiscal driver sheet here. School number is actually lower than what was proposed at that budget hearing they had a few weeks past.
so far, they still have to vote on it, the full
Yeah,
school
they
committee.
haven't voted on it in totality.
But it's still greater than what we requested they be at.
Correct.
Well, that 3.99 includes the tech, correct?
It's the
Yeah,
full school.
so
It does.
NM is at a number close to what we requested.
2.63.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is actually, I think, what our number was requested, at least ours from that letter,
But
close to it.
But
I think you guys put 2.4.
Yeah, it's close.
Yeah.
But the tech went up what percentage?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
fairly big percentage.
So it's not just the story of schools. I think it's all one bucket of money at the end of the day. But I do think it's important to highlight, you know, some other growths we're seeing. You know, retirement's going up, general liability insurance, police operations. You know, those folks. You know, this includes their override, which after some pencil sharpening this past week, we realize is not 327. It's 197, which is real. I think hopefully a problem solver for budgetary folks considering their override thoughts at home. You know, we did some good work. Myself, Chief Sartell, and Veronica really went through the numbers line by line. You know, the ballot question was set at 327, or not to exceed 327. And, you know, after a real sort of heavy look through, we were able to bring it down. So that's a positive thing. Our health insurance costs are going up substantially. That's a 6-figure increase there. Pretty common across the board with most municipalities in the state. I did increase our legal costs for next year. The reason being, you know, we have 4 unions to negotiate with. I anticipate
Fire next year.
fire next year.
following fiscal year. So
FY
are we
27.
doing it, it's not up till the end of FY 27.
And we're also not done negotiating with the police in the event the override doesn't
Yeah,
pass. So I just, you know, I want to be really cautious. Like, I think there could, you know, it's up to the behest of the public, our taxpayers, to decide what happens.
Mhm.
So that's something I think we ought to be cautious about. You know, it's not lost on me that the town administrator salary at 126,042 is clinically low for this, a town of this size.
And I can speak to that later tonight.
Yep, that's not me advocating for myself. That's me advocating for the role. You guys have had 5 TAs in 27 months or something like that. That's probably not sustainable. Your Neshoba Board of Health is going up substantially. That's about a 31% increase in their contract. Again, that is a contract that's based on their retirement costs and also just fiscal management for the services they provide for septic review, restaurant inspection, you know, nurse healthcare, things of that nature.
Tell me about highway operations.
Highway operations includes the hiring of the mechanic. So that is why you see that jump as well
I
as,
thought the mechanic was already in, there was another position. Are we rehiring the position?
just one. That's the number with one.
I thought it was already in the budget
It
for
was not.
FY
The
twenty-six.
mechanic wasn't, the heavy equipment operator was removed. I checked the numbers.
Okay,
Shifting to revenue. These are your revenue estimates for the town. Most of these are pretty checked. Your new growth, what the levy limit likely is, your excluded debt, where the money comes from, it's on the shoulders of your taxpayers and the properties they own in town.
Which again is not unusual for a town like us. It's always kind of been that way.
Not at all. For also looking at, revenue estimates, just a different way, table chart here. You have your enterprise costs, estimated receipts, which is a really high number. That's why it has that yellow, sort of highlight on it. We're not going to have a transfer from the reading room this coming year. That is going to be voted on to be removed as a warrant location, a posting location, and then look to be sold. That will impact, cash for fiscal year 28. Last year, you used $200,000 in free cash to balance the budget. I have it as a zero this year. Solid waste indirect cost is an estimate at 17,169, about a 5% increase. School resource officers on there, just so it brings light to the fact that we do get that offset from the school district.
did the school budget increase 7,000 for the SRO? Where are you getting the 87K from?
That was from the police chief when he said if the override passed.
But that money has to be budgeted, I thought, through the schools. In other words,
It's a back and forth
Uh-huh.
discussion, correct?
So, but if they get a wage increase, it has to be paid and we get it back.
So it's a wash.
It's a wash.
it is a wash, but do the schools understand that they're gonna have a $7,000 increase on the SRO line? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, that I don't know.
Okay.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Question.
So then you have a total at the bottom, just under a smidge under 1% for revenue estimate growths. I did note the free cash we have down below, $559,000 approximately. And the auction of town-owned properties, which is just over $356,000.
Do we know what that could be used for? Because I know it was put in a different bucket.
It was put in a different bucket. It does have some specific guiding parameters. I can forward those along to the board.
Okay,
Essentially, you would need a town meeting vote to disperse it. So you could say the town meeting authorizes the auction of town-owned property fund to go to the general fund to stabilization.
so could we do, okay. So,
And free cash, we're thinking like 300 for snow and ice.
They're at 214 right now, so
Over.
over.
But look, so that free cash amount, take 300 out of that number.
yeah.
So it's, say
And we
250.
have
Just call
about
it
how much
250 for right
in
now.
the special town meeting on the 19th?
About 100.
Can we redirect maybe at least the I think it's only 5K for the actuarial study to come from the town-owned property?
You'd have
See what I'm
to,
saying?
you'd have to do the town-owned property at the annual town meeting because we're not reopening the ballot for the special.
But can't we in the motion,
Amendment,
doesn't it
amend.
say,
I don't.
or any other, depends on how the article is written,
Right.
whether we could redirect
Or any
the
other
contagion
nation.
funds from there or any other, that part of it.
Yeah, I think we did the anything here too, but I'm just not not an
Okay.
expert in that. So it's something we could investigate
With something.
over the next few weeks.
Yeah.
So revenue estimates. This is the right presentation. So in general, give me 1 second here because this isn't the right presentation.
From the email too.
No, I got it right here.
These are reductions.
No, we're not getting into reductions on this. Give me 1 second.
Oh. Don't look at this page, the screen. Don't do that right now.
Sorry, this wasn't the right one. I loaded offline. Give me 1 second. I know everyone's just
It's okay.
holding you all hostage.
I don't know why I'm not having I'm so excited about this feeling.
It's hard. Hard things are hard.
Oh. That makes sense then. Sorry about that, folks. I had the wrong presentation. This again was what I shared with the staff. A couple other things. It was just like housekeeping stuff I shared with them. I said, sometimes people just hand me papers. I said, you have to email me things, just in case you hear that through your own walks of life. Buying power, it occurred to the town accountant that we're buying water for 2 or 3 different suppliers, paper from 2 or 3 different suppliers. We could be saving money if we bought it all in one way.
I thought that was changed already.
It's not. The library and senior center are buying water on their own.
Library does it from a fund for the printers, so it's actually not out of our general fund.
But they're paying more.
Yeah, so it's not, it's literally just money for printing goes to buying, so they can.
Scheduling, I just had asked staff to let their department heads know, and if it's, the town administrator, let them know where folks are. Just because sometimes residents are looking for people at certain times and just trying to make sure we know where everybody is, especially in case of emergencies or snow. And also be kind, because we are on the same team here, and I think that's lost on people sometimes along the way. Fiscal year, I touched on this, same slide you saw. This is a better version of this. Now you can actually see percentages. Sorry about that. So
We can imagine it, don't worry.
yeah, it's fun to imagine things, but a little different makeup here. And I'll sort of jump through these quickly just because you already saw it. And again, I'm pretty confident in that highway operations number for 1 person additional. But I'll recover on that one, Veronica, because I know you asked the question there.
I was hoping actually that it would be an increase in snow and ice in the general fund as opposed to.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping you were gonna answer,
Yeah.
but that wasn't the answer, so.
We saw revenue estimates. Again, similar slide, different design. Budget control. So this is what I was trying to get to, and it didn't look as complete on the other slide. We have hiring freeze in effect right now. FinCom and Select Board has a few exceptions. A few departments are looking to make more exceptions due to perhaps a loss of an employee or seasonality of schedules and things like that. So just a heads up, they are going to most likely check with our FinCom for the steps of the process. Again, I highlight on the school increase. This is the total for North Middlesex, debt, and tech. Departments, for the most part, have submitted flat or reduced budgets. A huge thank you to those departments. I did walk through with staff, a scenario 1 where, though FinCom has not heard this from me directly yet, I'm going to ask them to cut their reserve in half. I do have a history of spend down for that. I actually think it's been used to sort of save departments in the past, whether it be snow and ice, offsets and things like that. We're in such a unique budget situation that I don't think you can have buffer offers out there in the world. And I'll share that with them. I had a good conversation with fire. They are not going to look to have their assistant fire chief role filled. That was a really, a needed give of that department. It means a lot to the town in our budget situation for where we are. In the event you guys find another TA and I was writing grants for you, I wrote myself out of the budget. I think that's only fair.
Well, I don't.
Yeah, but I'll say, like, you are almost 400K in the hole.
I
Our
know,
budget.
So I just want to say that, like,
but I'm just saying that since we've had a grant writer, we have done very well in getting grant funds to get the things that our tax base doesn't cover.
correct.
Agreed.
And that's why I think it is important,
Yeah.
and it's not all that much money. as
And more
you
than
all
pays
know.
for itself.
It does pay for itself, but in sharing with staff, and again, I think if you had that person at a quarter of the time, they may still hit on some great grants for the town. I'm just putting every card on the table here to help
And,
piece this budget together.
and as far as housing goes, so I can appreciate writing the housing piece out. It is possible that if in fact, I shouldn't speak for the housing trust here, but if in fact we were successful in selling that property,
Mhm.
that we could fund administrative support, because maybe not the whole thing, but at least half of it.
Yeah.
Because that's important as well.
It is.
So that's all I'll say. I mean, it doesn't have to be at the full amount, but
Yeah.
that's something.
I essentially just cut most of them in half, and you'll see that in a later slide.
Okay, all right.
So again, scenario one ends up saving us about 150K or so. In that scenario one, you'll see on the budget that I'll present, also does include about $90,000 in wage increases for your TA role, police, fire, and highway. TA role again is probably too low. Police chief has a contract that's coming up, and we will begin sitting down with him. Fire chief role is paid at a too low of a rate. So it would look to be a new contract and a new rate for that and a set amount of hours to work with that in the role. And highway, we've started touching on him with snow and ice. This might be a way to work with them based on a promotion, add some other aspects of the job in, and go from there. I did ask the staff for any suggestions, any ideas, and some great ideas were kicked around, again, revisiting articles, any other sale of properties in town.
We're working on that.
We're working on it.
Working on that. So,
So scenario one is all union except the TA.
well, no, your police chief is not.
Fire.
Oh,
Police chief, fire, and TA
they're
are
all
not,
contracted.
they're contracted.
the
Highway
highway.
superintendent's union at this time.
The issue with the increase there is we have
A process.
yes.
Yeah. So, again, the staff were great. I think they appreciated the transparency. This is me identifying these reductions, and sort of going from there. So, you're not, other than the land use administrative assistant, which was about a $3,400 or so role in that budget, it was cutting grant person in half. Same with housing authority, land use training, land use mileage, building inspector, building department.
And those are pennies.
It-
Pennies.
Yeah.
But it all adds up to 143,
Yeah,
not pennies in the end.
which helps. And really the collateral
But look
damage is
at
your
where it's
assistant,
coming from.
is your assistant fire chief. Deficit situation. I think the select board and your town administrator and employees as well as residents are really going to have to ask themselves, what is required to function as a town? What is recommended? And that's just kind of the situation we're in. I know it's grim and it's not surprising to you guys because you guys have been looking at it for a while. Townsend passing a $600,000 override probably too little, should probably be about $1 million. But if you're just going based off this shortfall on our budget, you'd be doing 197 plus 400K for a general municipal operational override. I tried to, share what the impact would be. On a home that's worth 450K, it's $40 a quarter, which is, it's not a small amount of money. Like that's a tank of gas these days. It's four or five coffees at the new Starbucks down the street. These are the questions I think we have to ask folks in this scenario. There are no wage increases for union folks in this scenario. So I know we have an agreement to work on with them in the future. But this would be basically telling people, other than some of the department heads, you don't get a wage increase. I suspect people may vote with their feet in the reality that happens. Because I think that's tough to ask when the cost of everything in the world's going up, whether it be Gatorade, your electrical bill, car repairs, you name it, education. So, the staff, I think we're saddened to hear this. I think appreciative of the information and sort of hearing where we're at. So that's how this looks like, and we'll quickly jump to our recap sheet if that sounds interesting to folks.
Yep.
So I'm going to stop sharing for one more second here and grab that sheet. My computer will cooperate with me.
PowerPoint is not in the SharePoint.
You didn't put the right one in there, so I'll email that out. So.
Okay, thank you.
I know this is hard to see.
So we have that.
But I did print
Yeah.
it out. It's on your SharePoint and
Yeah. Is it this one?
yeah, it's that little itty bitty one.
I got it.
You got it. Okay.
It's still
Zoom in.
tiny. Okay, let me
You
make
can
it
zoom in.
bigger. Yeah,
Zoom in.
Um,
that was at
100%.
150. Now I did 150 and it's still
Didn't
too
touch
small
my readers.
online. Okay,
I'll
300.
pinch in a bit more.
Okay.
So this is your recap sheet. This is, identifying, our expenses. So this is really all your general government expenses here.
And that is level funded
A level funded with
with
a
those.
few department head increases and no wage increases really otherwise across the board. Here's your North Middlesex number. And here's your tech number here. Your tech number is jumping. 1471 to 1621.
A lot.
We have about 5 additional students going in
I was
enrollment.
gonna say, we must have more students
Yeah, it's about
there.
5 more. yeah.
What are the numbers at North Middlesex for students?
They're pretty flat and they're beginning to invert and go down.
Yeah,
That's happening
That's what I
across the
thought.
board. Almost every school is seeing that these days.
well, the techs aren't.
Different program. And as someone who was a liberal arts college person, I wish I came out with a real skill. Yeah, like that. Yeah. Again, looking at the recap sheet, you're carrying over your 166 for TCAM. We do get that back from Comcast. That's part of our agreement.
It's
You're
more or less a wash.
yeah, it is. It breaks
Yeah,
even, it has to. Here's your overlay number. I have 200K holding in the snow and ice, though that appears to be too low after seeing that it's 214 a few days ago.
Okay.
I asked the question, do you have the numbers of what it has exceeded for the last 5 years? And if the number is 200 or more for that time,
Mhm.
why are we still on the low side? Why aren't we telling it like it is
That's a great question. And I have
You
to
mean in
answer
the
your
budget
email.
itself?
in the budget itself?
Yeah.
I think it's because the budget has been so tight. It's the one place that we can
Deficit spend.
deficit spend. the only place.
Well, then you can't complain because you're inviting it.
I don't think
You're
there's.
setting yourself up to fail.
You're setting yourself up to fail.
Yeah,
I'm
Go
not
ahead.
saying anything else. But if you budget it in, you may not spend it. And so it's a way to, I mean, although if it doesn't get spent, it
Goes
goes
back to the
to
general
free
fund.
cash. So not a bad thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
So, but it is the one
The
place,
trick is
and
we
town
just
has
need the-
traditionally deficit
we need
spending.
the year in which we have the flexibility to bump it into. And we can plan for that 3 years out, 4 years out, 5 years out. But at this moment in time, we don't have that $300,000 flexibility to bump it into the general. Budget.
Self-inflicted,
mhm,
self-inflicted.
If you look at it historically, I did that once and it pretty much 400,000.
Every year.
Well, that was an average over, I don't know how, I don't remember the numbers, but I mean, even if you just put it.
I'm just saying for
100 in there to protect
transparency.
it, you
yeah,
know?
I can piece that together for the next meeting. So I put 200K in there. It's already too low. It should have a 3.
It should be
Yeah.
300.
It's gonna end up at almost 4.
And who knows what it'll be after today?
Right. Again, I know I'm being quick about this, but scrolling down the sheet, on the green side, these are our revenues. Receipts, indirect costs, I'm gonna, again, check with water. We are just verifying their percentages. That's where this 471 comes from. It might be a tad higher. You might be another 7 or 8K there. Again, our local receipts estimates, really important to note that you are no longer required to pay your excise tax.
I just did that.
I know, so did I. $115. I was like, son of a. You will no longer, if you get pulled over and you have not paid your excise tax, you will no longer be required to go pay it.
Well, I would never get pulled over.
So,
I would. I like to drive fast. It's a passion.
so, so with this, do we need in those estimated revenues to put the solid waste receipts, that 18,000 up there? Or is it,
It's down below here.
okay,
Yeah,
I
right.
just wanted to make sure it's in there. Okay,
Yep.
great, thank
And I'm
you.
just waiting for that number to be verified.
Nope, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure it's in there. Cause every little bit counts, so.
Mhm.
Where you have free cash and you have cap loaded lease, shouldn't that be capital stabilization? It's not coming out of free cash.
Yes, likely. I just maybe did it at about 1 o'clock in the morning last night.
I
So.
understand.
So-
It is capital stabilization, it's not free cash
Okay.
for that payment.
That's good news. So, this is important to note on a couple topics. That 700K is, that's our ambulance receipts for the town. I don't know where capital planning left on advising that the fire department utilize their ambulance receipts to cover that cost. That could open us up to a not so good can of worms.
Right.
Because as you see me scroll down here, here's your 390 in red. And then, some questions about how we're going to use this free cash. The question is, do you use 200 in free cash to stave off a spiral? And you sort of gone through the budget scenario 1 reductions. If you were to approve of a lot of this free cash spending at whether it be, again, I have that 31K in there, so that's just an error, but
But then
That
snow and
can
ice
come
is
out.
3.
Snow and ice is 3, right?
If snow and ice is 3, we have nothing.
correct.
Do we need the 20K in elections? I know it was asked for, but, and I know it was I'm just wondering, do we have money in what was left? Do we have leftover money in the special article for elections
It's about,
already?
I think that was the one with around like 8K.
8K.
Yeah.
So why do we need more? I can see doing it when we no longer have money in there. But
He mentioned it, the town clerk said, hey, I really need that 20K. He made it,
That,
we
that
have
tells me
midterms this
that the
fall.
general budget
Well, yeah, we have-
should be increased,
Yeah.
Yeah, we have-
not this.
Right.
Well, and we've bumped it down.
Yeah, we have 3 required elections.
Yeah.
This year,
Yes.
outside of the town stuff that may also be on the docket.
So why don't we, instead of doing it out of a special article, which is supposed to be spent within the year, so are we taking that 8K out and putting 20K? Do you see what I'm saying? Why
It doesn't
don't
roll
we,
over.
why don't we just put it in the regular budget? If we know how many elections we expect to have.
Yeah, I think he actually did, and I just level funded it because I'm trying to piece this together. So to his credit, I think Harrison put it in there, and I think I pulled it out.
Was it 20K or was it 8K? Because we do have 8K for
I
elections.
think it was
is what I'm
20,
saying.
but I don't know all the numbers off the top of my head, but,
Okay.
because I think he sent me an
I'm just
updated budget
trying.
this morning.
So
This
there
morning?
is a chance in pending council, that, can you go back down just for 1 second, Karen, to the yellow? I'm not gonna take too much time, I promise. That down,
Sorry.
where you just had that free cash breakdown. There's a chance possibly a couple of those we're saying maybe could come from properties if Adam says we can change that at the special time.
Could the bunk review come from there?
I'm not sure. I think so.
The OPEB
Property
study
sold?
probably could.
From the property sold?
Yeah.
Why don't we see what we can
You might be able to revisit that for annual town meeting.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm just throwing out ideas and
I know that we had wanted to get that OPEB study done. This was my last iteration of select board. Get the OPEB study done and see what the amount was and
Mhm.
use the sale of the water department building to start the escrow for, being able to help, with retirement health care.
Yeah.
That was the idea.
yeah,
So anyway, a reason
that's
not
what
to
we talked
spend
about.
that money for something other than that.
Yeah.
And I know the select board voted that, not when I was on, but when Teresa was on, they
Yeah, I
voted for
remember.
that.
Mhm.
And I think town properties might have voted for it too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
At the time of they recommending the sale
Mhm,
of the building.
right.
So again, here's your scenario 1. I know Cindy King has a hand up, but I'm just going to quickly summarize. Again, this is scenario 1. That was the fire chief salary at like 96 and change, and FinCom at 20K and change. That just didn't expand the cells.
Mhm.
I started to think tree warden, could we do half the time with them? I don't know. Similar to Betty May will kill me, but are concerts required? We spend about 17,000 is the number for those. Could you cut that in half? Could someone donate that?
Mhm.
Because that 8K adds up to this 7K, and we're at 15K, and then you add a few other things. We start to snowball into having some more cushion there.
What is the history of the expense?
Sorry.
There you
What is the, history of expense with the tree warden?
go. It's time to time. There's expenditures. I haven't had a deep conversation with him about it.
Well, I mean, like year to date kind of thing?
Yeah, I can check the PVA. It really is dependent upon activity in the town and stuff like that. I don't have a straight answer for that. So
Well, that would be the same for snow. It really depends.
it varies. Yeah. Yeah.
so, and this is, you can stop me at any point, Karen. When, you're saying this whole thing, no wage or salary increases, right? That's assuming exactly nothing changes in staffing
Correct.
across the board. Okay.
This
We are
deficit, the
experiencing it.
390.
So
that
just
deficit.
a moment. So Cindy, your hand is up. Do you have a question?
That's no fun.
You see us making
Shame
funny
is
faces?
true.
Oh, that's just, okay, hold on.
Well, the same was true with the CPA presentation last.
Yeah,
So
so
some,
Dave,
I know.
you don't know why you're not seeing it.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I guess it's good, Cindy says it's good now.
Yeah. I can quickly run through, just for those at home, you're gonna see our expenses up in the blue here up top. Some of these are confirmed. Free cash is now too low at this 200K. That should be a 3. This should needs to move to capital stabilization. That's your cat loader. So that won't hit us, but hits us in another way. Again, 700K from ambulance receipts. There was discussion about using bunker gear. Again, we're in the green, so that's money in. Comcast carries over, one equals the other. Some indirects, again, cat loader lease, I just need to move. Free cash being identified, that should be 300K, soon to be a 4 for snow and ice. 197 if the police override passes. I have the 87 as that's money coming in if the override passes for our police officers. 150 is the scenario 1 in reductions that I've identified. Again, throwing myself under the bus as your grant writer. Again, your deficit being 390 at the bottom here, almost 391. For those at home that weren't able to see, this is me typing late at night, asking myself a question, trying not to forget it. Do we use 200 free cash and just delay for another year? Or, and here's your free cash expenditures, full well knowing that this number is going to increase and this one is going to fall off. And you still have bunker gear as a cost, one way or the other. I'm going to scroll back over to the right and up. And, here are sort of the scenario 1 ideas that I sort of cobbled together. And this is on my own volition. The select board didn't ask me to do this. I just started to try to come up with a plan. Callie had a question.
Yeah, and what's the bottom line there? Of your
150.
sorta, not enough. Kelly,
Oh, I was just wondering, I haven't been, keeping track or asking anyone about the, trash service enrollments, but is it possible that we may get any part of that 163 back that we originally put in to fund the enterprise fund?
I was kind of shot
I don't-
down at the meeting when I asked the question.
Oh, you asked?
I asked the question.
And,
They got mad at me and said I didn't support their program.
Yeah,
oh,
that's,
okay.
There was no condition.
Well, I think if they've made up the, enrollment that they need to,
I think the
Compensate
answer
issue.
is that hasn't
it
happened.
wasn't borrowed money.
At least not
No,
the
it was
numbers that
not.
I've seen.
No, they wanted it
Seen
and it was
numbers for a
voted
couple
that way.
months.
I asked the question and I was the bad guy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
If we could get it back to go into stabilization, cause
Right.
we shouldn't be taking money from there, but that's not what happened.
so this is your recap sheet. I'll also show you what the omnibus budget looks like for this meeting. And again, I'm sorry it's so small, and I'll share with folks at home in just a second here. This is easy to look at, I know.
But yet I was one of the first people to buy the sticker. I was number 5
Yeah.
that bought the sticker. So I have supported the program.
So looking at the omnibus budget here, just carrying down what I've already talked about, which was a change for the TA, a contract employee, the TA's assistant. Some of this is placeholder stuff. Some of this is just trying to carry over one number from the previous year. I have some notes over here on the right-hand side. I'm going to quickly scroll through this unless anyone jumps out and has a specific question. And folks can reach out to me if they want me to share this with them as a PDF. Pretty quick. We have some of these things are contracted with the town, so we reduce our headcount with a remote town accountant. They're going to come in and there'll be a slight savings there. Board of Assessors, again, they carried over a budget. They did ask for another $1,000 for training which is sort of a succession plan for that office, which I don't think is a bad idea, just based on what I've heard from the personnel. Treasure collector, they're going to look at some of their mileage costs. They do have to drive to drop off cash, which I find a little scary for our employees that be handling a lot of cash. I think we should be going basically all online or check.
What does that cost us? I can't see that.
So they asked for $1,700 in mileage because I think it's once a week they've got to drive to the bank, which is not in town, to drop off cash.
But also it's time. It's not just mileage,
Correct.
it's their time.
Mm-hmm. And it's a loss of time. So,
Yeah.
so I just trying to cobble together a few dollars. So I knocked $700 off there. I would really encourage the town to look at just getting rid of cash in general, especially in the town hall,
Yeah.
where we, at times someone could pay their taxes. That might be a lot of cash. Again, that's small. Yeah, sorry.
That has to be a policy change.
It would be. The treasurer collector could make that call on their own because they did with the penny policy.
Yeah.
So I would of course want your okay from the select board to say, hey, are you okay with this idea? You don't have to vote on it per se, but the treasurer collector could just say, I'm no longer taking cash.
Mhm.
If you want a Western Union money order, go up the street, get one.
Or money order.
Yeah, you can go to the post office and get it. So again, I'll just quickly kind of scroll through here.
I didn't get an answer to the question about the cost of the lockbox fee. I think I asked that today, so that might be something,
We can look into.
yeah.
Okay.
Somebody said that for the taxes. For
The
mailing
one
it.
in Reading, you mean?
Yeah,
That is so convenient.
okay.
I've been paying that way since its inception in town.
Well, I just wondered what the cost was. Was it cost effective?
I don't know.
The question on the town clerk, here are the town clerk's numbers as they were requested. In general, elected town clerks are voted at annual town meeting. The wages and the rates are set by, the townspeople as a warrant article. Here are different, just out of the sense of level funding, I made a pretty significant change here in that what they requested. And, some of these things that office does need. So if we don't fund it, it may end up just being the year-end transfer. I think a lot of departments are faced with that reality, things that may go spent, but not funded.
Level funded is level funded and applies to everyone, correct?
So your question about elections, I wonder if I have that in here.
It would be farther down.
Right there, elections.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, elections here. So, there was an increase for operation staff needs, some different things of that nature, professional services and such. With 3 required elections, you do have to think about that in the back of your head in terms of what it looks like as a town. You are required to have the elections. So you do have to compensate people for some of that work. So I know I'm taking a lot of your time, but again, not a lot of changes here, just level funding.
This is the important stuff. It's on time.
Yeah. Again, I kind of threw myself under the bus for land use. Just reductions in general there to try to piece together some funding. I don't disagree that there are some great grant opportunities, but we're just trying to piece it together. Facilities did ask for some additional help. Having just gotten a flurry of text messages, we are having a plumbing issue in one of our buildings right now. So, that gentleman's going to go attend to that over at the library. So, they're having a pretty gnarly little plumbing issue right now. So,
Nice.
that's a person that does, the gritty work that I think sometimes gets looked over in towns. because it's gritty work. It's, you know, it's like that guy, what was his name? Mike Rowe, Dirty Jobs.
Mhm.
You know, I always think of him. You know, and their budget also oversees a lot of the energy costs for town. So, you know, their increase is because of our utilities are just bananas,
Everybody's are,
you know, and I wish there was a
it's
better way.
across town.
Yeah, it's across the board. Residents feel it too.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
you know, it's not just the town, but it's the residents. You know, police looking here, again, you know, sort of just have this 165 as a placeholder for the police chief. He does a phenomenal job for you guys. You know, looking at some comparable communities, you know, I personally feel he's probably too low for the work and the requirements that come with police officers. So, you know, that'll be something for you guys to review with him in contract discussions in terms of how that goes and where it goes. This number does include, you know, their override passing. So some of these numbers will, you know, match what I had before.
Which you, on the recap, you took that into consideration stuff.
Yep.
For anybody listening.
Yep. So those marry up pretty well. Again, you know, he's going to find a way to decrease energy costs, which God bless him if he can. I'd like to know how. You know, again, similar cost structures down here. He's able to actually create some savings at a level of funding. These aren't all his exact numbers. His numbers will change based on that override in terms of equipment, building, services, prisoners.
Okay, I have to ask for police.
Mhm.
Why didn't you level fund the lieutenant?
I thought I did. I thought I cut and paste. Oh, I may just not cut and paste correctly over. So
Okay, all right, that's all.
yeah,
Saves us
$1,600.
a teeny bit. That's all.
He's also a part of an agreement with the union, but I'm not sure where they are in their contract process.
Oh, no, the union is the supervisors union.
He's a part of that too, right?
Yes,
Okay,
so it's the whole deal with that.
Okay.
So,
so I can clean that one up. So you have $1,600
Okay.
more.
go ahead, sorry.
You know, shifting down to our other public safety, oops, sorry. Fire, again, this has been removed, this 96 for assistant chief. You know, you do see the increase that I'm proposing, you know, 32 hours a week, you know, $60 an hour. I don't know if the fire chief knows I've done this, but that's sort of where I'm coming from. I think the role and the responsibilities that we have here in town are so significant that you do need to have a good, strong fire chief, and they need to be compensated as such. You know, 67K is not enough for the level of situations this town has. You know, you had a really sad one this past weekend. You heard the engines a moment ago. I mean, that's a tricky job. Our fire department and our EMS do a very, very nice job for this town. You know, life-saving measures quite often similar to police, highway, and you know, so first responders are, you know, they're
Put themselves at risk.
the taxing work they do is not lost on me. So.
Is the middle one the requested and I'm confused on what we're doing here.
Yeah, the yellow.
Do I
is
have to
requested.
follow the yellow? I have to follow the yellow,
The next column on the right.
the yellow.
No, that's the department request is the yellow.
Okay, so then shouldn't there be a 0 where it says removed from budget?
So it's been removed in scenario 1. That's part of the storytelling of how the number got to 150. That's removed. You'll see at the bottom. 'Cause that math
All
had
right,
to line
all
up.
right, all right,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So again, you see their energy costs and such. You know, removal of assistant chief number here, you know, a few pennies here and there. You know, emergency management, things like that. These are all sort of placeholders here. No surprises, and I'll speed this up because I'm only on page 10 of 21, so I'm boring everyone I know.
No,
You know, building.
stuff that we live for.
Yeah, the building commissioner is not he's proposed not taking a raise. He's also removed a stipend from his kitty, if you will. And this is in the way here. And
He is not union.
I can't remember. He is union.
Supervisors.
Yeah. But you know, there were some other increases from this department. He did want to give his admin a raise, a 2% admin increase. But he did find other areas to reduce costs. He's going to reduce his printer costs. He's going to remove this large printer and go to a smaller one. He's going to get rid of his alternative inspector costs. Not a ton, but it adds up here. So again, I commend his ability to sort of penny pinch here and try to really be a good team player. And, for a department that helps generate funds for the town, I really applaud his effort to try to be collaborative. So thank you to the building inspector. These other items, animal inspector, animal control, things like that, those things don't change much. Pretty flat in general. So, howdy. You guys okay?
Yeah.
You here for our meeting?
Sign these.
Oh.
We haven't quite got there yet,
Okay.
but you can hang if you want. You can have some candy. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Everything okay in the field? We hear all the,
Three-car.
three-car accident.
Well, I'm not. Thank you.
Just quickly looking at schools, again, here we are at that 66855. This is as of a Thursday call I had with the school committee member that their assessment had come down. It saves us about $30-ish thousand from the 692. So was that 26 or so. This is tough. Highway again. I thought about having them take on some of the tree work. This is where Veronica may see if I'm right or wrong. Let's see. I'm holding my breath. Yeah, look at that. So they were at 555. And they go to 628.
Why?
So up here, this includes the mechanic.
Wasn't the mechanic in there already?
They may have been, but the role wasn't filled.
I know it wasn't filled, but there shouldn't be an increase in cost. It should be level. I
But-
don't understand. I don't,
Okay.
because unless it's a difference between the operator and the mechanic.
It might be.
The
one.
That high of a cost? Oh, but there's an increase for the superintendent.
Mhm.
Got it, okay.
Yeah, I can dig into that.
I would look at that.
Yeah.
Cause I don't think it's that pronounced. I honestly don't.
Yeah, snow and ice, I increased. It's probably not enough. Things of that nature. Salt, I really put a heavy lift there. So it's 1.5 the orders versus 1. And then sand, I did the same thing. We got to get that number up.
I agree.
And so on. So, street lights, things like that, not a lot of change. Cemetery and parks, not a lot of change. He did shift. They gave us a new budget, so they, the guys that do some of the work are going to keep their raise. They made a shift for an admin. That was their call. They are department head, so that's what they saw to do. They made some, tighten the belt straps, bootstraps, if you will, on some of the expenses. Housing here, you're going to see I reduced that. That was me.
I would have thought cemetery and park superintendent would have been leveled.
I asked the department heads, it's the same number.
The end of the department is the same number. So the request was for a level funded budget, not the details of how each department came up with that.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Board of Health decided not to change their number. They just felt that their costs had increased too much to do level funding. So that's why you see an increase here. The shorter Board of Health is a contract. Landfill engineering is a contract. Council on Aging made some reductions. There's still a smidge over where they were, but pretty pretty, oh no, so they're at their level as well. They made a couple of the reductions in supplies and such. The veterans agent has not shared a budget with me, so I'm just sort of rolling it forward. I will catch up with them about what's going on there.
The Weston and Sampson contract, I thought that was under landfill engineering. I don't understand why there's an increase under BOH professional services.
I think that was for training of the members. It depends. If you email me, I can find out in particular detail.
I'll do that.
Library wages, they came back with some reductions and changes.
They dropped part-time staff.
Yeah. So that's, saving about $1,000. Recreation remained the same. I know they have a meeting with FinCom to discuss things, so they're just holding for now. Same with Memorial Day. Had a couple great conversations with her. Things like the stuff that we can't really control, debt and such. Some went up, some went down. It's just sort of the way it is. You see our insurance number at 12.9%. Life insurance change, isn't changing. Medicare town share, I use that as a placeholder. Here's your number. 29,246,000 minus the schools is 11,812. That should match what I had up there. But again, I was doing this very late at night, so apologies if it's not perfect.
The first draft.
Do we have one if the override doesn't come?
I'm gonna get that authority to build that at the end of this meeting. That's my budget. So you're welcome to email me questions. I know we have some other folks here to get a couple of things knocked out of the park. So I will stop talking and stop screen sharing for those that don't know.
Thank you. So, we have with us, people here from the fire department, and so I would like to go out of order, if the board pleases, to 5.2, review, discuss, and vote, accept lease agreement for the Old Harbor and Old Central Fire Stations. Is there a motion?
Exactly. I value good to make a motion to approve the Old Harbor and Old Central Fire Station lease agreements as presented and signed out of session with signature stamp.
You can sign it here too.
But,
Yeah.
do we need to sign out of session if everybody's here and
No.
agreeable?
I will amend that motion. I value good to make a motion to approve the Old Harbor and Old Central Fire Station lease agreements
the one.
as presented.
Veronica Kell, second.
Any further discussion?
Thanks, guys.
Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Kell, aye.
Baggage tag.
Laura Schiffer,
School building. You guys
So
did
do
good
we
work.
have the lease to
Yeah.
sign?
yes,
do,
right
yeah.
here.
Excellent.
We signed by the chair and then by our friends from the fire.
This will help with the budget too.
And someone give me $1 for candy. I was like, you don't have to pay me for candy.
That's the money for the year.
That's for
I know.
2 days, for
years.
2 years.
This is
Get a
the,
receipt.
this is your lease.
I can't technically take it. Has to be a check. I wish I could,
In the mail.
because you have to have a receipt. for
Yeah.
The legalese of life, so.
Now, this is just for the Old Harbor. This isn't for the Old Central.
For both.
It is for both?
It is
Does
for
it
both.
say it on there?
That's Old Harbor.
That's.
Harbor and Central.
This one says 65 Main Street. Are there two in here?
There's just one.
There's just
Her
one.
motion was for both.
My motion's for both.
It's just the Old Harbor that I saw.
It's just Old Harbor.
The Old Central will be a match to it.
We were supposed to do both.
I'm not paying you for everything.
Yeah.
You better hang on to that. Gonna drag me out back. It's just for,
So,
Old Harbor was the one we worked on.
so do you wanna sign on this one?
I would,
Absolutely.
We'll
we'll revisit the other one.
So do we need to,
The motion was
do
for
we
both.
need to update the
The
motion?
motion was for both. She's.
Okay, so I will amend the motion to,
Old Harbor.
to approve the Old Harbor Fire Station lease
We've only
agreement.
been working on the Old Harbor one.
Yeah, so we need to vacate that vote, I guess.
Okay. We have to redo the vote.
I can do that.
It will be just for the Old Harbor Fire Station.
That's the only one I got feedback on from working with the guys. It was just Old Harbor, so I didn't have any other feedback. For them.
We
Not that-
we
I
were.
could throw myself under the bus. Maybe I didn't pay attention to the email, so. I was sending it to your Hotmail. So.
We started out with both, but then we,
So we're good.
yeah.
Good on that one. We'll
In motion.
We'll catch the other one.
We'll work on
It should be pretty easy to mirror that one.
it. Yeah, just change the.
I move to amend the motion to contain only. Okay.
And I will second the amendment to the motion.
This is 65 Main Street.
On a roll call, right?
Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Roll
Veronica
call.
Cal, I.
I get a tie.
Laura Schiffern, aye. So it's going to be the 3rd of March, 2026.
Mhm.
I would prefer that we date the second one the same, just so it's on the same rotation.
Yeah, I'll send the draft
Yeah.
out to the correct email. Then just into some nebulous Hotmail hole.
Actors in the club.
Okay, so, it says 20 with a 2 for the expiring, but it should be 20,
It'd be a 50.
It's 50 years from now.
No,
2076.
2076.
Yeah, we just append that and then we'll. Because it was live signed.
And I don't need a copy of that.
I'll email.
Until we're all done.
okay.
And I'll send you a copy anyways, just so you have it.
All right, awesome.
Thanks, John.
Be safe.
Did you-
Thanks, guys.
Did he
Thank
sign
you.
Sorry for any confusion.
He signed, yeah.
off? Okay, thank you.
Drive safe, okay?
Thank you. I'll follow up on the central one.
Yeah, I think it was almost exactly the same, but,
It was-
but there may be some differences because
I thought I read both
no
of them.
work has been done on it.
Right.
So that was why I kind of got,
Dropped.
not,
Yeah.
didn't get dropped, it
I
just.
mean, I may have dropped it.
Well,
Well, we were doing so much work on that,
Yeah.
yeah,
that went back and
This
forth
was the
10
important-
times,
Yeah.
yeah.
so.
All right, well, those are one of the pleasure things to do.
Cool. I will scan this and send this out and put a copy to the fire EMS folks, so they have a version of this too. So
The Fire Relief Association,
fire release, yeah. I just think of everyone as fire. and
that's fine,
Exactly what
just
the code says.
specify the different groups.
So that finished 4.2 for you. Sorry that took so long, but thought it was good to
Nope, that's what
Yeah.
we did.
We're not done with that either.
we're
I'll
not
be back.
a few layers, so.
Next is 4.3. And it's not marked.
Yeah, there probably isn't any materials for this. It's
No.
more that I just need a motion from
This is
the,
the First Amendment to contract employment between town of Townsend and the treasurer
No,
tax.
it is not,
No, this
4.3 is approved motion to authorize the interim town administrator and labor council to invite the AFSCME unions to the table for considerations of the fiscal year 2027 budget. It's just a motion.
Okay,
There's no materials. to
sorry
support.
about that.
Okay.
Is there a motion?
I evaluated to move to authorize the interim town administrator and labor council to invite AFSCME unions to the negotiating table for consideration of the FY 2027 budget.
Is there a
Veronica Cal,
second?
second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal,
I get a tie?
Laura Schiffern, aye.
Great.
4.4, MOU for the treasurer collector. Is there a motion?
Yep, I, Valerie Goodrich, move to approve the MOU for the treasurer collector audit representative stipend, contract amendment and sign out of session with Stowe.
We don't have to sign out of
You
session.
got it right there.
Is there a second?
second.
Any discussion?
This
Hearing
is just for
none.
that stipend we
Roll call.
recommended earlier.
Veronica, I.
Sally Gurdichai?
And Marcia for none. 4.5, public records policy.
I don't have a lot on this. I think this is just moving to
Yeah,
adopt the
okay.
third reading revision of the public records
I don't think
policy.
this is ready for,
Not ready for consumption?
No.
Maybe table this one?
that would be my,
That would be fun. I just want to state that I think there should be a charge for the requests because I think our staff should be paid for the work that they do.
and I mean, I would add to that,
That's
do
what
that,
I'll
just
say.
for context, because I've been contacted by a lot of people about this. On June 18th of last year, we received over 90 requests for anybody who's interested. 90 requests in one day. We have almost 400 requests last year.
Yeah.
I could read them to you, but you would have to cover your ears, some of them.
Why are we
So-
not, I thought we already voted to charge
Yeah, and so I think we
last
just.
year and this year.
Yeah, there's details that we need to figure out, and we can't charge a flat fee. It has to be charged per time. As a town under 20,000, actually, we have a right to charge from the get-go. So we just have to decide, and I think we need the time and energy to figure out the right way to do this. But this
That's
is,
good. I
this
just think
isn't-
the staff should be paid, and I think if a department head or the TA says this is the amount it will cost, I don't think the RAO should be waiving the fee. Because I think that that our department heads and our TA should be trusted for the time that they think needs to be spent for their department to cover the
and
request.
then the question is what responsibilities are ours versus the RAOs. And so I just think that this is part of
Can I put this to 310 and hopefully we get some more information?
I would like to push it to April, to be honest with you, after the budget, because I think it's gonna take time and energy to figure out.
The issue is that we have ongoing requests coming in that
Yeah.
are requiring time of staff.
I propose, I'll use myself as an example. We had a request from a requester about the revolving funds. I mean, I was point blank with the RAO and I haven't caught up with the requester. They happen to be an employee. I don't know enough about the town administrator select board revolving funds to really dig into it, to be point blank with you. And it was going to take me some time to do it. So I sort of itemized it for the RAO. And they did not feel as though that was an accurate description, or perhaps the time would be necessary to investigate it. And they waived the fee. So I'm going to spend probably 2 or 3 hours tomorrow to answer this request. Because-
What funds are they talking about? The only one I know about is the one that we established last year
There's a
for,
Memorial Hall revolving
It's
fund,
more-
there's obscure ones.
Reading room. There's a few other that are overseen by select
these are the
board.
same people that'll complain, not do an override and complain about the budget. And
I don't know.
we don't have the staff to do the work.
Well, this was a staff member asking for this of all the revolving funds of the town. So they wanted to understand,
So is that a question for the accountant?
it ends up with the accountant, but it's figuring out, like, they wanted to know the entire budget makeup of all these revolving funds. So expenses, planning, forecasting, all that's everything, all encompassing for the last 3 years.
So that includes the
So they wanted recreation, cemetery and parks.
Trash?
They are trash, so they're asking a question of themselves because they want to know what the other revolving
we don't
fund
have
is.
time for this right now.
I
Whatever.
was a little, I haven't said this to the RAO, but I was a little disheartened by the fact that he waived the fee because I estimated about 4.5 hours of my time. And only 2.5 of it we actually get offset funds for. So you guys pay me $61.60 an hour. And it was going to cost the town 200 and some odd hours for that 4.5 hours worth of work.
Mhm.
And I was looking to catch $62.5 back. This is after I presented the budget today where we are in the whole 400K. I'm all for answering the requester. I just think when it exceeds that 2-hour threshold, we have to catch some money back for the work that is proper and it's appropriate to ask, but
It is, I think it is what it is at this point in time. I do think that, I think that we need to have, I think Karen and I both didn't want to take Adam's time and money at this moment in time with the budget to really hash through some of these things with the RAO. And then I also think, we can help this process. And again, I don't want to take Karen or Sabrina's time at this moment in time by getting some of our meeting documents online. I think we can figure out ways that we can do this whole thing to make it, the records that are frequently requested, that are very quick to answer, are available.
I am all for putting packets online, putting we can do it before the fact, after the fact, whatever works.
Yeah,
But I object to having people spending time right now during the budget
yeah, it's
process
destructive.
to answer a request that's gonna have to be answered when that time could be better spent doing something else.
I think the trick is we have to answer the record
Okay.
request though by state law.
Okay, I'm gonna work on this
Which
public
works
record
against the
policy
towns.
to have it say what I wanted to say.
And you should
Because I-
probably talk to Adam because there's a lot of things that are gonna not be allowed to be said.
I don't want the RAO to be able to waive the fee if the department head, if the answerer
Yeah,
says the.
You
I
just,
think
I would
that's
just
wrong.
talk to council then.
I will. I'll spend the money doing that.
so
take no action.
Yep.
4-7,
Well, we skipped 4, 6.
Yeah.
For the
April
meeting,
7th. April 7th?
yes,
For
because
the
I'm going on
next
vacation the
discussion?
next day, so yeah, sure.
I think we just need the time to,
I'm gonna call Adam and I'll have it
Okay,
written up before we get to April 7th, so we have a policy that we can review at least a week before it's gonna spend council money,
okay,
but
Yeah, and really, I think it'd be,
it's,
my last parting thought on is that I just don't think, again, I think I love the idea of the transparency in the public records. It's the staff time that we're losing as a result of this. So again, the disheartening thing for me was just sort of the abruptness of waiving the fee when I think it's an appropriate fee to collect. And it's a very
and the
mild
first
fee.
2 hours were free.
Again, the first 2 hours were free. I just don't think, because I know Cemetery and Parks has work to do for this. I don't think it's gonna take them more than 5 hours, but those 3 hours are 3 hours he's not gonna be out shoveling the pathways now. Because he's gonna have to be going through some paperwork to figure out what he needs to do to answer this request. If someone slips and falls and Roger was in doing paperwork, that's the thought that goes through my head.
and
it's a good thing I shoveled the back
Right?
walkway.
But like same for, recreation, if there's a kiddo they could be possibly throwing a snowball for. And like providing some care that way, rather than looking through papers. That's what they should be doing, and we have to, again, I'm all for the information, we just have to have some catch-alls for funding for these things, because it's a losing proposition for the
Yeah.
town to keep.
Yeah, and I think, and I've said this again, is I think the vast majority of the requests, we can really help by getting some of this information, like this meeting today out there, that's fine. Then that doesn't become a public record request, so we can do our due diligence there. But just so people know, 400 requests last year.
well,
That's
I
what
have
we're
a
dealing with.
question. What is a public record? I mean, is this really a public record that's being requested? And who
Yeah,
makes
those
that
are-
determination? Because, does that mean that, why don't they just come in and go through the files themselves? These are
That can
things
be-
that have to be, time has to be
So
spent.
that can be, there's a place for in-person requests don't cost anything. Someone could come in and just look through the files themselves and it wouldn't cost anything.
Exactly. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Okay, that's
just,
gonna be on April 7th.
Yeah.
Thank you for your
Thanks
comments.
for bringing us back, Lori.
4.6,
This is a Val topic, so.
Oh, yeah, this is me, right?
yeah.
This is
you.
Oh,
the.
town administrator. So did you guys have a chance to look through some of the
Yes.
things that I sent?
I liked it, by the way.
Just getting started.
Do you want me to
You
screen share?
Scan the PowerPoint.
Yeah, I think
See what I can do here.
It should be in there. It should be in the
Four.
new business.
4.0.
Yeah.
That beautiful bald eagle.
Yeah.
That's one of our pictures.
I love it. I know.
Sorry, I'm a visual person. I created a PowerPoint template. Anybody can use it if they want to. So this is, again, draft for town administrator screening committee getting started. You can go ahead. Here, next one. So with a little bit of help from our consulting mentor TA.
Can you shrink her down?
Yeah, so I basically I started by running comparisons by population and economic indicators. So here's the kind of range of things that I put into the DLS database. So in like 4 towns is a pretty good amount of towns to compare to. So our 4 by population and economic indicators, and they're right there what I used. Douglas, Lancaster, Rutland, and West Boylston were the closest. Just because you also should compare by geography too. I did a separate comparison, Ashby, Groton, Lunenburg, and Pepperell, surrounding towns. So if anybody, if there's a lot of feedback from people, those could change. I could pull the numbers a little differently, but that seemed pretty good. It was a little lower on population, a little higher on income and tax bill. Go ahead. So here's what we have. West Boylston is currently in a TA search. They had 3 TAs in the past year. Yay. I talked to the interim TA there, and so there you can in the packet is their listing for their job description is 140 to 180, and he said that they're probably for FY27 he's doing the high end of that range. And he was going to give me the assistant number. I put assistant in there because it tells a little bit of a story about the support that this office has too. Lancaster is at 175, an assistant at 78. Rutland just signed a new contract, and it's at 146. That contract is set up with some bumps mid-year for every 3 and an end of the year bump. It seems like probably a person who has a little less experience, and their assistant there at 63.
It is an assistant TA or an administrative assistant.
It could be either, and that's why I just put it as an assistant position. Some of these, like it's hard.
But you use Sabrina here, so.
That's what kind of I was doing is the lowest. None of these people have an assistant TA also.
Well, yeah.
Some of our geographic towns do, and that's not in there, but
Yeah.
they do, you can see, have a higher assistant than we do. So Douglas is up at 180 with an assistant at 69, and then Townsend over there 126 with assistant at 52. So that was for FY26. You can see there just a couple notes. Douglas is closed in the summer on Fridays. Rutland, which is the lowest of those comparisons, their town hall is 4 days a week. And then geographic comparisons, Pepperell here we have 180, Groton at 200, Lunenburg's 169.25. They also, I think they have an assistant. I have to double check on that. Yeah. Ashby's at 115. Their town hall is pretty much half day Monday through Thursday, and their town administrator is Monday through Thursday. And also their population is a third of ours about. And then there we are at 126. So those are geographic comparisons, just because it's only fair, you live where you live. We have to consider that. So the questions I have just before kicking this off is, do we want to use a contractor recruiter for the search? We can. It's probably going to cost something. Do we have the money for it? Based on that information there, are we confident going forward? I tried to bring a lot that I think would be kind of what they would start us off with. If you guys still want to go with the 3 members, that's fine. I will put one more shout out for 5 if you guys want to consider it. Job description and posting time frame. I would like to not do this until after we have a really good handle on the budget, because it's going to eat a lot of time for me. I think two department heads have already kind of stepped forward, library and police, to say they have long-standing employees, big departments. They're both pretty tenured in
That's what
town.
we voted, was
Yeah.
to do 1 select board member. I think it was you. I think we
Yeah, that's
actually
why I
voted
would do
you.
this.
Yes, right, we did.
And the two department heads of the.
And so if that's
outside of town.
you guys still want to go, that's fine. our first meeting, I might just have a pretty good public comment session for the town to come in and kind of give some feedback, but that's just my thought initially. So I'm thinking early April, but I'll take your guys' feedback. If you want me to try and get it going quicker, I can. And this is kind of I'll let you answer all my questions at the end so I can just get this done. This is kind of for the TA marching orders, interim TA marching orders, the salary range to offer. I'm just throwing that out there. I think
I think that's fair.
that's kind of where at least the comps land us right now. And obviously that
I would
depends
do
on a whole bunch of stuff.
150 to 170.
It's too low.
Yeah.
170 is too low. Then 150 to 180.
The only reason I'm putting that low out there is for I'll say this, if somewhere in this budget snafu, we wind up with less of a lot of stuff, that's just what I'm leaving more room for in there.
Yeah.
It's just a range.
As your budget builder, I put 165 as the bottom of that range. You guys, again, you're a complex town
Yeah,
in a
100%.
financial tsunami.
And if we get someone with experience, I'm okay with going higher.
Yeah.
Groton and Pepperell have been there for a while.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's why their rate is as high as it is.
It also is.
And if we get
we do
someone
al-
comparable.
Yeah, we do also they do have higher incomes and tax bases and
Yes,
stuff like that.
they
So
do.
you at least have to
Their
take that
budget is
into
higher.
consideration. But we do share school
Great.
district.
My purpose for a 3-member and a contracted recruiter, which is also what we had talked about.
Yep.
Was so that I would want the contracted recruiter to vet people
Mm.
prior to bringing them in. I don't know in the most recent search if there were any references ever called. I have the feeling that there were not. I know that the committee did not check
That would not happen
references.
in my watch, but.
And, not on ours either, really.
In
but
terms of-
Laurie and I were both on that committee, and I don't think references were called. I know the time before, I called the references.
I was gonna say that.
I
I would not feel comfortable bringing someone forward to you guys without checking references.
So I would want a contractor to vet and to vet the resumes. And do a pre-interview, a second interview with the committee,
Mhm.
and then the committee goes to
So
the.
how are we?
I
Yeah,
offer
go for
one
it.
bit of insight.
Please do.
You already have a consulting TA under contract.
Yeah.
You may be able to leverage them to review resumes and check references.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
You're already
I thought
paying,
of that.
you're already paying them.
That's a good idea.
And this is someone who knows the workforce incredibly well.
And-
He can tell you within 2 minutes.
And I
That's
would
fine.
also want to get from the consultant, whoever it is, an idea of the range that makes sense for the town of Townsend
Yeah.
and the people that are coming forward.
Yeah. And my comparisons there, that did actually go through Jason, so he kind of agreed with my logic on that. So, my one problem and the reason I put that first question up is if we were gonna actually contract someone outside, how would we pay for it? That's why I just.
We would
put that
find money. From somewhere,
We do sale of
But-
properties fund in order to get someone who could really help write this.
But so,
in any event,
So
yeah,
let me
we
s-
do have Jason under contract, but till when?
July.
July
and-
10th.
And so, I mean, it's March, you guys.
Yeah.
We're not looking at this so it's April, May, June. We have 3 months, and that includes any overlapping time that there may or may not be. I think it's late, but that's me.
so I would love to start right now. I just don't think it's,
Why not?
I mean,
It's us. It's not him.
no, I know, I understand, but
He's
It's-
doing the budget.
I know. I mean, I can, okay, I'll try to get it started sooner rather than later.
I would like to see the I mean, if we're going, I would like to see, the team named and for us to make a decision so that the posting is out there by the beginning of April, so that if it's April, whatever the date was you threw out, that's the date where there are resumes coming in, something to look at.
Fun story. We knew, I can say this now, we knew as a Dunstable Select Board, we were gonna hire Jason when he came to our town meeting, because it was in the spring.
Huh.
It was the
Wow.
smartest move, and then the other person did not.
But you at least had your people.
We had
We
a
won't have
pool
people
and
by May, whatever it is, if we don't start now and get things out there. So in other words, the beginning of April should be a meeting with, if we're using Jason as a consultant, we haven't voted on that yet. We could put that on the 10th for voting on what we're gonna do with that. And I would want to get things posted, name our committee with names, if in fact we have that.
Mhm.
And, you know,
Can you put together a report for the next meeting on the 10th,
On
March 10th?
what more information would you like?
the name of,
The name,
so it'd be
So-
Jay, yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I've already talked to those two department heads about this. They're fine with it. It would just be scheduling.
and we can name the people that are on the
let's do
committee.
that
Okay,
next week
then let's name the committee next
and
week.
approve it.
Do you want to just do that now? I mean, they've both agreed to be on the committee.
It's not on the agenda.
Well, it does say
Is it?
review, discuss town administrator search committee and process.
If you, I mean, we've
All
already
right,
created the
there
ad
we
hoc
Name the
committee,
All right, let's,
not ad hoc committee, so I don't have any problem making a motion to name the members, as long as you're all sure you don't want me to go out and get two more. I just have to
I
ask.
think 4 is good, and you've
Three.
got,
Well, and the interim. a
oh,
consultant.
you mean about the members?
Yeah.
I'm good with 3.
um,
Do you want 5?
no, I want 3. We
Oh.
already voted.
No, I had to double check again, because I got a lot of feedback, so I wanted to bring it, because I would be
Let's just
open to
name-
5 if.
All right, I make a motion that we name.
Having been on 2, one being 5 and one being 3.
No, I think it
No,
was 7 and 5.
Oh, 7 and 5.
Now we're going down to 3.
I think it's a better idea.
Okay,
Whittling away.
Yeah.
you'll get more done.
We'll get
Okay,
more done.
I make a motion that we name the ad hoc town administrator search committee to consist of the select board member being Valerie Goodrich and the 2 department heads being the library director and the chief of police. If they will accept it.
Accept that charge.
Is that who you
Seconded.
talked to?
Yes.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote,
Veronica Cal, aye.
Probably good at tie.
and worship and I.
Okay, so.
Thank you.
Second item of business, is, maybe have a
Chief
conversation.
Sartell is there. You good with that, chief?
I
Still
am.
there? Yeah,
Yep, I am.
so,
Excellent.
I'm like, I didn't talk to you, so.
Thank you for
Changed your mind.
volunteering.
Yeah, and then I would, I guess I would like to have some idea. I mean, we had named the consultants that we were thinking of. I would like some idea and include Jason in that. Maybe we don't have to pay for anybody, but to find out, I think I sent out 5 questions to ask the people.
Mhm.
Maybe, since you're on the committee.
Yeah. MR.
Call them and see.
I have the name.
There's a couple others, yeah.
Yep, I'll just double check and most importantly, what it's gonna cost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then I'll
right.
check in with Jason to ask what he realistically thinks it would take per week and if it's with what.
within, because he has to work with,
Yep.
Right,
Whoever.
yeah, well, he has to work with you
Yeah.
to get things rolling for town meeting and
Yeah.
all that. So talk to Jason too,
You also,
And-
yeah.
and then let's bring it back.
I'll give you guys an
Next
update
week.
next time.
Okay,
It also swings on your budget number.
yeah.
So which that last part of that is, are we just going with what Kieran's put in there for that number right now for FY 27, 165.
For a number to work with right now, yes.
Okay.
No,
That could
let's
change.
make it 170, at least.
You'd rather be high than low.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on the
Let's-
qualifications, right?
let's-
No, no,
Make
because if
it-
it's less than.
Then it's
the
harder to
money
make
goes
up the money.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't make up the money.
Oh,
You can deduct. You know,
Then
the
maybe
effort.
we should make it 180. Sorry, but it's 10, it's 15K more than what's in there, which in the grand scheme of things isn't a whole lot. And we
If it gets you someone that's been a TA for 7 or 8 years,
just
I'm
can't.
not me,
No.
but like someone who's been doing great, like, and is looking for a growth potential. You may get a wonderful candidate that could really,
We just
knows
need
much more than
someone
that, so.
that's gonna stick it out when you get the
And
90
so
requests in
I'll
one
say
day
this too, in
and things like
I will
that.
say this, that the TA community is amazingly helpful. And every single one of the people I contacted was basically like, give me a call if you have any questions. And in the brief back and forth I had on occasion, they said Townsend, less important is, they all felt less important just in a brief conversation is it's the longevity of the person that comes in here at this point in time. Less so much the details. We really want to get someone who's going to be here for 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, because we need that. We haven't had continuity. So that's the focus. That really has to
I
be the
agree.
focus.
I agree with that.
Whatever that looks like, that's the
That was the intent, before.
Yep.
Just didn't work out that way.
But I think it's hard. So,
So,
okay, that's my initial research. And again, draft.
so the number,
Draft.
the number that we are asking Kieran to put in the budget is what?
170 or 180.
Which one?
you could always go down. It's harder to go up.
I agree. I think
So-
we should.
I mean, Douglas
I
is
know what
at
I think.
180. Rutland's at 146.
Okay.
West Boylston is right now searching their job posting
We
is
can always
140
come
to
down.
1. That's their job posting for West Boylston.
And they're likely to be about 177.
Yeah,
What I pieced together on that number.
so that,
Let's do 180.
Okay.
and then we see where we go from there. Okay,
Do you need a motion or we can just budget that?
I'll just input it into the budget.
Okay. So this is on,
Consensus.
this was 4.6 on new business.
yeah,
I'm going to expect this to be under old business every meeting going forward until we have a hire. Okay,
yep.
all right,
Okay.
4.7, Kieran.
I don't have a lot for this. I have not had time to discuss, finalize, or review ballot questions. I may ask if you're okay with me to table this to next week.
Yep.
The one thing I would like to know is what is the date?
I believe it's March 23rd.
For posting. So we have the
Yeah.
10th and the
Rena was
17th.
working on that this
Okay,
afternoon.
so if then that gives us, because it needs to be after the special town meeting.
So next week, we would basically say these numbers work. Review once more the 17th.
Okay,
All but one question remains. It's probably the override question.
it is.
And then all the others are firmed and locked in. Because then the meeting after, on the 24th. Was you need by the 23rd, so really the 17th.
And,
Okay, 4.7 is being moved to 310.
and consult with Adam with wording of the other request,
Mhm.
because we had that issue last week.
4.8,
Oh, this is.
No, I
fun.
saw that.
Yeah, I didn't know much about this. Let me bring up this.
We get a nominal amount of money from them every year. And typically it's gone for like gas at the senior center or whatever. It's for ride share rides, I
Yeah.
guess. And they're not doing it anymore. Is what I read in the thing.
Do you want me to read this, Karen?
Yeah, that'd be great.
So it's basically, this is notice to all Massachusetts municipalities concerning future municipal distributions from the Rideshare Trust Fund pursuant to a whole bunch of acts. No longer collect a per ride assessment of 20 cents on rideshare trips originating in Massachusetts starting on January 1st. This will result in no disbursements to municipalities from the rideshare trust fund in 2027 and beyond.
More just a notification. I don't know if there's really any voting.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
Right,
Yeah.
and, just before that time, this is 27, January 1st of 27, it ends. You might just wanna look at what it's meant in the past.
Yeah, I'll take a little dig into it and see what I can find out.
Okay.
Just for your time, Overwatch here at 6:51, we have a couple more things, and then we have a 7 PM executive session for fire union. So just for your
so
sense
let's
of,
try to get through
maybe want to jump to the
something.
police chief's one, 410. Because I know he's been hanging on the call for a bit, and it has to do with police radio to purchase for
Okay.
Motorola devices. Chief, you still there? You want to speak up if you can?
Okay.
Sure. I don't really think this takes any sort of board action at all. Just the fact that we've got to figure out who the procurement officer is. Just I sent it in for compliance purposes, just to show you where I bought, how we secured the bids and that type of thing, because it is a fairly high dollar item. It is completely funded by a grant. That's
Yeah,
been
so-
already approved by the board.
You have to sign that.
Yeah, so I think I signed it for you, Jay, so I just wanted to bring it to select board attention, and I'm happy to sign it for you if you like, so.
Sure. Yeah. I just don't know if you were appointed the chief procurement officer or how that
You
worked. So
are.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
He
all
was.
good, yeah.
Okay. So that's 410. Can we do 49?
Yeah, 4-9, letter from the fire chief and fire department in regards to securing a spot in line for an ambulance. What they do with their cycles of life, we would be getting in line basically for one about 3 years out, because they take 3 years to build out.
Right.
Not a bad practice, no cost to us, is my understanding from the letter that we received. I will try to share this.
The planning mentioned that.
I
And for
was
future-
against doing that this year. I am for doing it next year because
Okay.
I don't know how we're going to buy it. That's my problem.
In 3
And
years?
and looking at the life of the ambulances, I don't have any information on that. Like, what's the lifetime of the ambulance that we are replacing?
Yeah,
And the chief is right there. So, but that's why I was opposed to doing it.
Do you want to ask the chief? Is he here?
I know that once we get on that list, there is no way we are not buying it. And that's the issue for me. Right now, with our fiscal situation, I have a concern about doing that. If it was me and my home, I wouldn't do it this year. I would do it next year.
okay,
Because things lighten up in a couple years.
they do, the debt cycle. Hi, folks.
Okay, can we have the chief speak to it?
He's right under the gun, right under the microscope, right from start.
Let's do it.
We are talking about getting in line for that ambulance. If you could just speak about where we are in the cycle, and what it means, what it means from that side of things, if you will, so.
So we have a new ambulance that is being inspected now, within the next week or two, and we're expecting it to be, it should have been completed last month, then it'll go to Connecticut, it'll be lettered, and it'll come up. So that one's in play. But the lead time on this has been 3 years. So the cycle time on these, we're gonna have one that's coming up, and we should have one in spare. And a year ago, I started this one, and I held it in queue until now, and now I need to have an affirmation to be able to leave it there. There's no obligation, but it gives us a place in the line to have an ambulance if we need it. I would highly recommend it. If it looks in a year that we can't do it, I've got some thoughts and some ways in which this thing can be financed without it impacting the town budget. But right now, with the pressure, if you've read anything about it nationwide, getting equipment is not easy. So we're there, and
So just to clarify, when you started your statements, you said that you would have done this last year. You held it, but you held it in the queue, and so now you're asking it for this year coming up to be in the
I
queue.
was able to hold it in production queue without your authorization for a year.
Okay,
Now I need authorization.
And then it's for 3 years from now?
Probably 2 or less.
At what point is there a financial obligation for deposit, anything like that? How does that sort of shake
When
out?
it goes into production.
Okay, so still potentially a year from now, then you might be back to the town to say, hey, we need 10% down. I don't know.
And I'm not gonna ask for that. I think
Okay.
if we are left alone the way we are going right now, and I came prepared to talk about that tonight.
Yeah, threw you under the bus.
Where we are, I know that I've committed 700,
Okay,
and I think we can. We're at 566, and today, I think there was a $45,000 or $47,000 deposit. 45, so 45 on that is gonna put us at 610. We'll still have 3 more months, April, May, and June to go in that.
Okay.
So we should be, we should meet our obligation. And I think that if we continue to do what we're doing, there's a real possibility that we can fund it internally.
okay,
I will tell you the new ambulance that's coming in. When we agreed upon it, it was 3 and change with an escalation that wouldn't put it over 425. We've had a little bit of a battle. They've held it at the 425 to get it to the ALS level. Brings it pretty close to 600. We made up that difference with the Neshoba fund money.
Mhm.
And it would be the same. It would be a $600,000 ambulance by the time we're done, maybe even a Schmidt-Joe.
yeah, but it would be another advanced life support.
The only way we're going with it.
Okay,
How old is the ambulance that you're replacing with it?
A1 is 16, 18.
It's a 16 or 17, I believe.
Yeah.
Years old.
Yeah,
Model year, so it'll be 10.
Say that again?
2016.
2016, yeah.
It's a 2016 ambulance,
10
so
years
it's
old.
10 years old. And your other ambulances?
Plus one will be a 24, 5. The chassis is 1 year and then the box on the back. So probably 25 and 25.
25 and a half.
And I think it's, A2 is 19 or 21, 19. I think it's 19.
it was 2019.
Yeah, that what it is, yeah.
And the life expectancy on an ambulance.
It's all about the abuse. So they are abused. They're hard ones.
yeah,
5 years is we try to switch them out in 5 years just to keep.
Up to date.
Yeah.
Our oldest one is at like just under 110,000 miles, so I think it's like 106 or something. So 106,000 miles.
most cars usually start creaking at that age. Imagine an ambulance with a bit more wear and tear.
There is a little value to it, not a lot, but there is some value.
Yeah.
My concern is how we pay for it. Because we don't have money to pay for it until in 28, fiscal years 28 and 29. The borrowing starts to drop off. We'll have things paid off, so we have room in the current town budget, and I'm looking at things without an override. And then it becomes easier to cover. And so my concern is if we do it now and it comes in a year, we don't have the money. Because we also have a highway vehicle being asked for that we are pushing out this year. That would, they want another plow and then another plow.
Got it.
And so we just can't.
So Veronica, that's incredibly valid, and I understand that, and I think that we've worked in the past 4 years, well, maybe 5, whatever it's been, 4.5, to increase our revenue to the point, I think you're well aware, that the obligation from the town is around 875, 950 over the past 10 years. We want to hold it there. And I do believe if our strategy is accurate, that we should be able to, and still be able to get back the 700 per year. We could potentially self-fund it.
So basically just asking for permission to go into the queue without any deposit
Or without an obligation.
or without an obligation.
Thing would sell.
I can do that if the motion includes,
No financial
when the time comes that you have to make a financial obligation, that the select board is again considered. If again, able to vote.
I think it has to go to town meeting.
Probably does,
It
or
does.
capital planning, sort of up through the chain
Yeah.
of life, basically.
So,
Yeah, so it's just a matter of maintaining the standard that we are operating under.
Yeah.
And we're in great shape on the infrastructure side.
so, but
You're
it
just
went
looking
to
for no
capital
strings
planning
attached.
this year. Well, yeah, because we
No,
don't,
no, because
we don't have the
I-
money.
I understand.
Um,
Not asking for the money.
Okay.
but you did put in an ask at capital planning.
I put in an ask on capital planning to be recognized. And I also told them in capital planning in this room that I thought if they did not take more money from us, that we could self-fund.
Correct. You did,
Okay,
you did.
Were you there? For watching, I'm not sure, but I know I said that.
Yeah, you did.
But I will,
and that's, my concern is.
my soapbox is, and somebody's gonna have to work really hard to convince me otherwise, there's no other department hit harder than we were last year. And the police department budget's equal, they're our brothers and sisters, they're all in emergency service. We got whacked 90,000, we gave back money and we gave up, capital, we $256,000 of hits last year, so. We're just trying to maintain it, and I think that we have a plan moving forward that's not gonna put more pressure on the town.
On 4.9, is there a motion?
I like a plan.
How do I wanna word this?
So the motion would read something like,
I'm just thinking, we're here for 5 minutes, just a few 5 things. Contingent upon no current financial obligation. How about that, Veronica?
Yeah, that will work.
These motions off the top of my head.
All I hear is no financial obligation.
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to approve the fire department request to secure a spot for ambulance replacement, contingent upon no financial obligation, current financial obligation.
Is there a second?
Does that work for you?
Not current,
No financial obligation? No financial, how would you like me to say it?
With no expectation from the town to support it financially.
no unapproved financial obligation.
Yeah,
I will go with that.
no unapproved financial.
Let me do it again.
We're all under the
Yeah.
same kingdom now.
Okay, it only took 3 people, but
I thought Goodrich move to approve the fire department request to secure a spot for ambulance replacement.
with no.
Contingent upon no unapproved financial obligation.
Contingent upon no unapproved financial obligation.
I will second that.
From the town. Correct, I heard that.
And we would
from the
have to
town.
approve any obligation, even if it was funded by, we'd have to approve it.
So if I get an email that states that, I wanna attach that to
I can write that.
It'll be in the minutes.
the.
The motion.
Well,
in
for his, for
Oh.
spend.
Well, I'll get you a letter by the end of the week. So you have it.
With whatever the motion said.
Yeah,
We do appreciate all the support the town's given us. Those 2 engines have been at work since they came in December. And, thank goodness that we've had them to be able to attack the way we attack.
It's been busy.
you've done a lot lately, we can hear it. Any further discussion on the motion?
Yeah.
Okay, roll call vote,
Veronica Cal, aye.
How good a job?
and Laura Schiffern, aye. Okay, that's 4.9.
So we did have these folks in our town council, Ms. Jane Friedman, scheduled for an executive session at 7 PM. So I may suggest we
Oh,
pause
yes,
from
yeah.
regular business to come back. So TCAM and those listening at home, we are going to come back. Jay, I don't know if we had anything more for you, but unless you're just driving around in the snow doing donuts, listening to us, you may be off the hook. But otherwise, I think I would pause regular session and say we'll come back for a few more items, fully recognizing that it sounds like it's snowing pretty heavily, so I want people to be safe getting home too. So
Do we have to read all the executive sessions now?
No, just the one.
you could pick out one because it's 7.1 because we're going to come back to regular
Okay,
session. So I move to enter into and adjourn from executive session. And the chair so declares for 7.1 at 7:05 PM. You
so
can
moved.
do-
Hi, Laura Schiffern, so moved.
Bingo. Is there a roll
And
call vote?
declare.
Well, second, Veronica Cal second, right? Did you second it already?
And
Yeah.
then 7.1 is executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 30A, section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining if an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body, and so the chair so declares.
Schifrin so declares.
Okay.
Irene.
Okay, we'll see you back in a bit.
Thank you, TK. We'll be
Thank
back.
The recording has stopped.
Just gonna take a pic. Okay.
Okay, everybody, they've gone into executive session. Now, I don't think I'm going to stay on and wait for them to come back. They said they're going to come back from executive session to the regular meeting, but I'm looking at their agenda, and although maybe possibly some of it might be interesting, I'm not enthused about hanging around for what will probably be more than an hour. Or they're just doing one. Oh, the only thing they have left. Well, maybe I should come back. I'm looking at this. I don't think we covered approved annual town meeting warrant articles. I might have missed them putting that off or something, but I don't know that they did that. They did the lease agreement. I don't even know if they did the MOU for the highway. They did not do the special municipal employee list. I mean, that might be interesting, but not really. That's brief. I just don't see these things worthy of sitting here and talking for an hour about nothing. I can make shit up. You know what I mean? Town administrator updates and reports. I think he did the, I mean, some of that is pretty minimal. Reports from board liaisons, those are usually uneventful. Oh boy, okay. Let's see, announcements, communications, next meeting, review and sign payroll. This is just not worth it to me to hang around for. I think when this meeting gets put up, then on the town's YouTube channel, I'll watch the end of it and see if there's something worthy of going over with you guys. I'll do another video using their material. I mean, but I'm not thinking there's anything earth shattering. So I don't really have much of a recap for tonight's meeting. I think it moved along fine, and I have my 2 cents. I'm not sure about this ambulance thing, but I guess, I don't know. I think we need more capital planning. We need more competence on FinCom and capital. So that's just my first complaint. But they need to be more involved at the ground level. Well, I guess they were. You know, Gary said that he talked to capital planning about this already. So maybe, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't think anybody's got any kind of spreadsheet looking at year to year over 5 or 10 years what living here is going to cost. I mean, not just living here, but functioning, running the town. Living here is a whole nother story. It's just, I'm not going to go on a soapbox on that right now. It's useless because it's just not changing. I think there were a lot of conversation in this meeting that were productive. Yeah, we need more money. We need $1 million override. I mean, I looked at, you know, what Kieran put up there, and it's like, it's clear that we're 1.2 million short, and we need $1 million. We really do. And I just wish the select board could, or even Kieran, could sit and present a package and explain it. I mean, I wish our FinCom could explain it, but they don't understand it at all. They're trying to go through department head budgets and penny for penny and trying to find $1 million, and I think they're out of their mind. They're not even acknowledging, they're just saying no. What are you talking about? we have $1 million shortfall and we need to deal with it. I mean, they're dealing with it even the select board, at least Kieran is dealing with it a little bit. He's made some recommendations. And I mean, I have more recommendations, but they're all towards, we need an override and we need to explain it to the taxpayers and the voters, not just throw it out there. I need $1 million. I've gone over it, over and over it. And he just got the spreadsheets, I'm going to try to get those. And that he did, because he's got things more up to date than I could ever produce with just guessing, without doing a series of public records requests, which they're fighting anyway. But these are, I don't know, I really wish they would do, just bite the bullet and put $1 million override and explain it starting. They should have started already. I mean, he's doing it a little bit in meetings, but we need, more of press release. They need, and they don't acknowledge me as press, but I am. That's exactly what I'm doing. Real deal news. Hello. But, and if they could give me something to explain to you, that rather than it's just me explaining it, and some people don't trust me to be giving you the right answer, but I am giving you the right answer. It is $1 million override that we need. And I'm not going to change my story. I'll talk about it. Oh, all right. I missed that. Thank you. I mean, there's just so much here. But anyway, yeah, it is $1 million override we need, but they just need to package it. And they're afraid that, oh my God, we couldn't get a 200. We couldn't get a 300. We couldn't get a 600. And Cindy thinks we're going to get $1 million. If you explain it, you'll get $1 million. But the problem with last year and the year before is the secret underworld, undercover, under darkness, trying to just shove it up people's nose and without an explanation, and blaming other people. Oh, it's the schools are the evil, it's like, no, it's not the schools. It's you. We need the money. It's not that it's not even that anybody's doing anything wrong. It's like things cost more money than that the 2.5 allows us to buy. Kieran went over, things that have gone up over 10%. I mean, I like the way he did a spreadsheet that had things by he had them sorted by increase. So that was really interesting. And I suppose that packages it better so that we can see these things went up this much. And these are things that we can't control. We can't say no to them. This is what it's going to cost the town to keep doing what we're doing. So anyway, I'm on that soapbox, but trust me, I don't know. I get frustrated by the way they're doing business. Tonight's a little bit better than I thought it would be, so I'm happy about that. But we gotta, I don't know, maybe I need to yell louder. I don't know. But I'm concerned about how they're dealing with public records. They need to have a better plan other than just yelling at the requesters and blaming them and saying that we need to charge for public records. No, you need to make more public records available on the website. Put public records up on the website, because half the stuff that's being asked for at one time were on the website. And they're not. I look at the public records portal and they had 400. I think, I agree with Valerie, I think it was, who gave the numbers, that last year there were 400 public records requests. And at the beginning of the year, there were BS. So there were people just writing stupid shit that was unnecessary and just harassing people. And I mean, a legitimate public records request, but it was unnecessary to do what they did. And I think half of them didn't even get filled, and they just, it was just screwy. But what I've seen on the portal now are legitimate records requests that people are asking for a reason. Some of them are obviously why they're being asked for. But most of them are public records that should be on the website, or ought to be on the website, or once somebody asks for them, put it on the website, the actual website, not just the portal. It's possible. And then this fee thing, I guarantee you it's going to cost the town more money than any fee they could possibly ask for. That if they can't ask, they cannot charge more than $25 an hour. And when they ask these insane fees that make no sense, you're going to get an appeal. And then 100% of the time, they're sending the appeals over to town council to review. But okay, Cindy appealed this, town council's going to look at it. The most they're going to get out of me, if I didn't like the fee, I send it to the state. The state, even before the state responds, they send it to town council, and then the state. So town council is going to look it over, and that's probably at least $40, even though they were only ever going to charge me $25. So the state says I don't have to pay the $25. It was an illegal ask. Then they give it back to town council again, who's charging $200 an hour to mount an argument again with the state to say, oh no, you're wrong. And then they think I'm going to file another appeal with the state, which I'm not. I've already told Kieran, and I'm not Kieran, Harrison, our town clerk, that he's going to make a great select board member and a town clerk, let me tell you. I think he's definitely ready to walk in that job tomorrow. But anyway, we'll discuss that on election day, I guess. But before that, I'll talk about that before. But anyway, the public records, what was I going to say? Oh, my policy, my personal policy on how I'm going to handle this stuff. The public records law is very clear. I know anybody who's not happy with the response that a town gave them or didn't give them can go either to the secretary, the supervisor of records in the Secretary of the Commonwealth's office to appeal whatever nonsense a municipal government gave you. Oh, I don't like this, I'm appealing it. You can either go to the supervisor of records, or you can go to the county superior court. You can go to either one. You do not have to go to the state first. You can go straight to court. And the public records law states that. So, and it's, the administrative burden is easier to go to the state than just to go directly to the court. And the court might not have a lot to go on if all they have is your request and the response. And you have a bigger lift, I think, as a requester. You have a bigger lift to explain everything to the court on why you should prevail in your case, in your appeal with the court. So my policy from going forward is I'm going to appeal to the state one time. And when I win at the state, if I lose at the state, that's probably it, because they know the public records law more than anybody, that taking things to court when the state has ruled against me, I'd say, okay, whatever. But if I win at the state and the town decides, no, we're not going to do what the state says, screw you, which they did that to me 4 times, at least 4 times. It might have been more, but at least 4 times the town, with spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars with the lawyers, they kept denying, refusing to do what the state ordered them to do. And I just, what is this? We're just going to keep doing this. And I'm not, it has to stop at some point. And I was preparing a lawsuit. I was preparing to go to Superior Court. It's like I should have gone months ago. What am I doing? Waiting so long. And so because of that nightmare that they put me through, I decided that I'm changing my policy, that I'm not going to allow myself to be abused in that manner again, because that was wrong. All the way around it was wrong. And it cost the taxpayers more than $1,000. I'm going to do a video on the total cost when I get a second. But my policy now is I do my public records request. The town gives me garbage. I appeal to the state. And this is if they do. I mean, I've gotten public records requests without any problems. But in fact, they're doing all this crazy fee stuff. Okay, I know I'll be appealing. No doubt in my mind that I'm going to be appealing. And not because I'm planning it in advance. Like, I'm prepared in advance. So I'll appeal to the state. The state will agree with me. When the state agrees with me and tells the town you must provide this woman with the records, and you must provide it without fee or redaction or whatever the issue might be. And then the town goes, nope, screw you. That's the end of it. I'm not contacting the state again. I've already got the ruling in which they quote the law. I don't need any more homework. I don't need to do much homework at all. I'm going to take it to Middlesex Superior Court on my next level of the appeal. I have to look at, any dates to make sure that I get my filing in on time. But I already have the boilerplate filing. There's enough other people who have done this, and I've already got my boilerplate. I just have to change the names and towns and what have you, and add on. And when the benefit too of going to court, I can make it I'm referring to it as an add-on. It's not like a legal term, but I would certainly, as evidence of the intent to prevent to fight public records, I would include all the appeals that have been done, even if they're not mine, but at least mine, the difficulties I've had, the extensions, the denials, the appeals, the bullshit the harassment that I've undergone based on my legitimate public records request. I will be able to use in my lawsuit, because I'll be suing for additional problems to say that this is not a one-off, that just a disagreement or a misunderstanding of law. This is an intent by the town to prevent people from getting public records. And from the last select board meeting, Veronica Kell gave her speech about actually deceiving requesters and saying all public records, even no matter how much time, even if it takes 5 minutes to produce, all public records will be $25. All public record requests take an hour to fill, as despite even acknowledging that was not true, that she was going to declare it, and not actually because it's true, but we're just going to put that as the bottom line. That's an intent to actually extort money from people. So if something takes 5 minutes, you can only charge $25 an hour. So if it takes 5 minutes, what's that? $1.98? I don't know. I'm not adding it up. I'm just taking that out of my head, so I don't know. I need to think. But the check, it costs more to write the check, for Christ's sakes. And then, speaking of that, so public records are really in disarray. And I'll say this is, and I think, I think this battle over public records, Harrison is really fighting them, because he ran on transparency, if you might remember, and that he is really working he's trying to make it easier for the community, for the town to respond to public records, and, to make it less burdensome. And they're trying to make it even more burdensome. And he's like, what are you doing? So, and he's making it easy, not just for us trying to ask for public records. He's trying to make it easier for the town hall, the town officials to respond and not fight tooth and nail. And it's getting worse instead of better, because he's trying to really expedite things, and it's the other officials who are, he can't provide a public record to somebody that he doesn't have. If the select board doesn't want to give it, or the treasurer's office doesn't want to give it, he ends up with, he's getting the appeals going through his office, and he's really getting swamped with overwork, and but he's doing everything he can. And I think, this is, my sidebar on this is, he's running for both select board and he has to run for re-election on town clerk, because he was filling an opening because Kathy, our previous town clerk, retired, and she still had a year on her term. So he ran and got only a 1-year term last year. So now he's running for re-election on the town clerk, because he wants to do that as his full-time job. And then he's also running to be on the Board of Selectmen, or the Select Board. I keep calling it Board of Selectmen, but the Select Board, which I think is great, because he'd be there full-time. Everybody, Select Board is a part-time job, supposedly. That's not your job. Everybody else has, most people will have it like a day job, and they'll come and be a Select Board after work. Right now we've got some retirees in there. Oh no, Lori Schifrin is working. She's a realtor. I don't know what Valerie does with her time. I've never asked her. And I don't think she, I don't know. I don't know if she's working or not. I believe Veronica is retired. But, certainly has the time to put into it. But I think it's really excellent that he can be in town hall all the time, except when he goes home to sleep. Having a full-time select board member who's in the town hall and actually at the pulse. The town clerk's office is the pulse of government, and I think he'd be very good in there. But also on this public records thing, he can actually, it's a lot of the things that he works with, like elections and public records and just a lot of the fees. There's so much going on that goes into and out of the town clerk's office that him being on the board of selectmen can, better lead. He could actually lead and provide substance that they're not willing to listen to right now. But I think that putting him in there now would really help us as a community, and then have us also work towards, we're going to be hopefully on the ballot, we'll be going to the 5-member board, and I think it would be very helpful to let's get Harrison in now, and then we'd have a good transition, because it would be Harrison, Valerie, and Lori, and they've all been working together already for the last year, and then they would be, I think, a pretty good team to bring in the other two who will run for election whenever the select board call the election, and which could be any time over the next year. It's not going to be right away, because they got a bunch of overrides going. We're going to have to probably, if there's another override, they're going to have another special election anyway. So I'm telling when that will be. But I think that, with all this happening at the same time, it's really telling, and it's really helpful, I think, to really put focus and solution, rather than having somebody who might take out papers and run, who's really not ahead on the issues. And we need experience in town hall. We need experience. I mean, that keeps coming up over and over and over again, and it was discussed tonight when they were talking about bringing in a new TA. They want somebody with experience if they can possibly get it, and they raised the salary offer from which they need to do. I think it's like 180 now, and even Kieran was saying that's kind of low, but all right. I don't know that he's going to apply. I told him go ahead. I don't know if he will. Might as well. And but yeah. So these things need to happen. But I think that we'd be in a great position to do that. Yeah, because we do need town hall experience to go into the Board of Selectmen, and Harrison has it. And I wasn't intending to make this a campaign speech for him. But that's how I feel. I mean, I'm really excited that he's running, so. And we'll see. I'm sure somebody else will take out papers. It's getting close. The deadline's coming up. We got till Friday, take out papers for just about everything. But we'll see. Okay, all right, I don't know if I have anything else. What time is it? I mean, it's early for us, isn't it? We sometimes go much later. But they're in executive session, so we don't have to deal with them. So thanks everybody for watching. And if you haven't already, before you leave, like this video. Hit the like button on the video. And even if you don't like it, hit the like button anyway. I can't tell, when you hit the like button, I can't tell, no one can tell who you are. It's a secret. Nobody knows that you liked my videos, okay? I can't tell if 5 people like it. I have no idea who the 5 people are. No idea. So just like it anyway. Thank you. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Consider subscribing so you'll get notified when there's another video coming up. And then you can always share this video with your friends on social media, by email, anything. And then comment. If you want people to, well, most of you have YouTube names that nobody can make sense of who you are. So feel free to comment. I read them all. If I like them, you get to keep them there. If I don't, I delete them. That's true. All right. I'm gonna turn this off. I gotta check one thing. Somebody sent me. No, I got a notification of nothing. Nothing. All right. That's all I have for tonight. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back. I don't know. I think I have a conflict tomorrow, so I won't be doing a video tomorrow night. I might do something during the day if I feel like it, if I have something put together. But I won't be doing any meetings for the town tomorrow. I'm not even sure. I don't even know what's up. Is it conservation? I don't know. But I'm not, yeah. And Thursday I've got a commitment too. We'll see. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Again, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. All right. See you on the next one. Take care.